the work continues.
I want to see us execute, get this as competitive as we can possibly get.
And it's picked off! Oh! Go get him!
The standards rising. Joint practices spark the fire. Now it's time to see who brings the smoke. It's about effort, identity, and setting the tone for what's next. The lights are on. The energy's real, and every rep matters. It's Raiders. It's Niners. A rivalry rooted in the Bay. Reborn under the bright lights of Las Vegas. And it starts now.
For the only time this preseason, the Raiders at home in Las Vegas and inside Allegiant Stadium. But today, not just in front of Raider Nation, but in front of more than 300 Raiders alumni. An opportunity of those who wore the silver and black in years past to see what the present Raiders can offer for the 2025 season. Hey, folks! How are you? Jason Horowitz, 2002 NFL MVP Rich Gannon, former Raiders leading tackler Kirk Morrison. Happy to have you with us here inside Allegiant Stadium. We'll get to all of your Raiders brethren who are all over this stadium. It's going to be an awesome day for the alumni here in Las Vegas. But guys, for the team, an opportunity to improve from Seattle. A rough start. The offense, they need to see a little bit more here, especially in the first half.
Well, it all starts with running the football better. I mean, that's been a point of emphasis really going back to the beginning of the all-season program. And I think when you look at where the Raiders were a season ago, it just simply wasn't good enough. Dead last in rushing, dead last in yards per carry. So what does Pete Carroll do? He goes out and hires an offensive coordinator that's got a history of running the football. There's an emphasis in Chip Kelly's approach in terms of being aggressive and controlling the line of scrimmage. Then you go out and get the best running back in college football a season ago in Ashton Jeanty. You look at 2,600 rushing yards, Heisman Trophy runner-up, and a dominant player at his position. Position versatility, explosiveness, straight line speed. But where they've got to be better, guys, is up front. You look at JPJ, this group, a lot of change, especially interior part of that offensive line. But I love the physicality. I love the fact that JPJ comes off on the football. You see the double team, the ability to get up on the second level. They've got to be able to control the line of scrimmage. They've got to be able to win the battle up front. You look at Jordan Meredith. He's making the transition from guard to center. He brings some athleticism, some toughness to the position. I think he brings some good feet, his ability to also get up on the second level. And this is what the Raiders have to do. We had a great conversation with Colton Miller yesterday. He said, look, it's a mindset. It's an attitude that we have to bring each and every game to be the dominant group and to win those battles in the trenches.
Well, Jordan Meredith and Jackson Powers Johnson played into the third quarter last week in Seattle. We expect to see all the starters. We'll see how long, but more than we saw last week against the Seahawks. As for the defense, they got to get better this week in tackling. They've talked about that openly, but there's a guy we're all excited to see play.
Yeah, I think you're excited about Jeremy Chinn. Look, the best player on defense is Max Crosby. We know that. But Jeremy Chinn is probably the most versatile player. He's the Swiss Army knife, a real true Swiss Army knife, because he can play almost every level of this defense. He did it last year with the Washington Commanders, and throughout this offseason and training camp, he's done it with the Raiders. He can play on the defensive front. He can play in the box. He can play as a corner, free safety. He's also the starting nickel. He does a little bit of everything for this defense. It's been exciting to watch Jeremy Chinn, who I call Where's Waldo. He's somewhere on that defense.
Yeah, you got to find him. But, we're starting to get to know some of the other guys, too, who are, Pete Carroll has talked about competition. The cornerback spot may be the most competitive here in training camp, and there's a guy who's emerging.
Yeah, Jacorian Bennett was traded to the Eagles last week, and Caillou Blue Kelly was the name that kind of stepped up. His game has now evolved. He's gotten more reps, and last week in Seattle, he went out there and played an outstanding game. Had his hands on the football all throughout that second half. Got a lot of praise not only from his head coach Pete Carroll, but also his defensive coordinator Patrick Graham as a guy who's always around the ball doing good things. He's definitely put his name in the hat for a starting quarterback spot.
Kid, Bishop Gorman here in Las Vegas, went to Stanford for 4 years, was drafted by the Ravens, kicked around the league a little bit, played in Green Bay as well in 2023, signed with the Raiders practice squad at the end of last season, and he is making an impact. And he has worked with the first teamers all throughout the week, and that included the joint practice with San Francisco on Thursday. And, you get competition. Pete Carroll's happy about it.
Robert Sala and Gus Bradley's over there, and Kyle has done a great job for years and years. They've got a terrific group, and that's only what we would expect from them. They know what they're doing. They have control of their groups. They have style of play that always shows up. So that means they've got a real philosophy in mind and all that. So that's why this is such quality work for us.
I felt very good about that on Thursday, and now the opportunity for Pete Carroll to coach a game in this stadium on that sideline for the first time. He'll get his team off to a better start opposite a team that he knows in San Francisco. We are underway. Raiders won the toss and deferred, and the Niners coming out and taken down at the 26-yard line. Good special teams tackle down there by Trey Taylor. We do expect to see the Niners starters, those who are healthy, for at least a series or two. Brock Purdy, fresh off his 5-year, $265 million contract, Rich, trying to help San Francisco improve from 6-11 a year ago.
I love this challenge and this test for this Raiders defense. Why? Because the 49ers are committed to running the football. The 49ers marry the run game with the pass game. Plays that look the same but are very different. This will be a good challenge for that front seven.
Caillou Blue Kelly is starting opposite Eric Stokes as the corners. Purdy's throwing. Ricky Pearsall in his second year being a first-round pick right in front of Eric Stokes made the grab. They pick up about 6.
We already know what the emphasis is defensively for the Raiders today. It is all about tackling, getting front and getting guys down to the ground. A poor job last week in Seattle, but today it's about getting the guy down on first opportunity.
Yeah, and playing with extension, right? Coach talked about that, getting to the ball, using your hands. Yeah. Kirk, you know how important that is to get off blocks.
Get off some blocks today, baby.
As Kyle Juszczyk, the veteran fullback, in motion and play action for Purdy. He has space, he throws, Pearsall again, and he's out near midfield. He'll land in Roberts and Devin White, the two linebackers he caught between. It's a 14-yard pickup and a first down.
Already you're seeing what Brock Purdy does well. On the move, making throws and making opportunities for his wide receivers to get open. Brock Purdy just comes out of that wheel, and the linebacker right there, Landon Roberts, he's there. He's just got to throttle down. That's just a nice job by Pearsall, realizing, hey, I've got a linebacker only. Let me stop, show hands. A nice catch there.
Christian McCaffrey, Trent Williams, their stars not playing today. A handoff. Max Crosby in regular season form. He gobbles up Patrick Taylor on a loss of 5.
Yeah, Colt McKivitz, he's never had a chance. Watch number 68. He's the right tackle. And Crosby, all he does is just swim move. It's just a quick swim. Let him get up the field. He gets behind him. That's how you make tackles for loss. Let a guy over-exaggerate, get it too aggressive, and make a play in the backfield.
You know what was great? Being on the practice field the other day in the scrimmage, Max Crosby turning to the 49ers coaches and saying, don't try that. Don't run the ball this way. You're wasting your time. You need to go the other way.
Max Crosby, 105 tackles for loss since he came in the league. They did try the other way, and it goes much worse. Tyree Wilson had a Butler. They blocked it up, and it's 3rd and San Francisco for the Niners.
Setting edges. I love when you set an edge. As the old linebacker in me, Rich, you set an edge. Watch Tyree Wilson. He's the number 9. It allows Max Crosby to just come downhill, but it was all made because of Tyree Wilson holding that edge and turning the ball back.
And I love the fact that even when you don't run his direction, when you run away from him, his ability to chase down runs from the back. Nobody plays with greater energy and passion in the running game than Max Crosby.
Patrick Cram, the defensive coordinator, told us yesterday we better set the edge. Purdy to throw. Open man, it's caught. First down, Ricky Pearsall, his 3rd catch of the opening drive. It's a pickup at 21, and if you're the Niners, no Jawan Jennings, no Brendan Ayuk till October. They're going to lean on this guy.
Yeah, watch Devin White, though. He's the linebacker in the middle. He jumps up, and he tries to go for the underneath George Kittle. Stay back a little bit. Stay in that throwing window. Probably could have got a hand and knocked that ball away. It's 3rd and long. Let them complete the underneath route. Take away the deep route.
And that deep route was Russell Gage, the veteran out of LSU. Pearsall 3 for 42. He's on the sideline. Purdy. He's got Isaiah Hodgins, the former Giant, and it's another first down. Brock Purdy is 4 of 4 for 53 yards on his first drive of the season.
Well, he's a rhythm passer. The thing that Purdy does a really nice job of, he gets the ball out quick. He reads the defense. He knows where the weakness is in the coverage. And he does a great job with his anticipation and his accuracy.
Now, because the Niners went from Super Bowl runner-up to 6-11 last year, it felt like the team took a step back offensively. They were 4th in total yards last year. Toss play to Taylor, trying to get outside. And the Raiders chase it down, maybe a pickup of 2.
The injuries were a big part of it, as you know, Jason. You look at Trent Williams missing games, and every position was affected. Offensive line, the running back situation, the wide receivers. Just was really difficult on Kyle Shanahan, even to put game plans together when you're not sure, Kirk, who's going to be up and down each week.
Oh, you remember Deebo Samuel had some drops in some critical situations throughout the season as well, so he's no longer here. Who are going to be the guys to step up now for this offense?
Traded to Washington. Purdy will play fake again. Downfield, that's caught. DeMarcus Robinson in stride in front of Eric Stokes. Tight coverage, but he picks up 13 yards.
Multiple times we've already seen in this first drive, Rich? Getting Brock Purdy on the move, getting him outside the hash marks, and allowing the receivers to run away from the Raiders' defensive backs.
Yeah, that's a tough route to cover for Stokes. He's right there with them, stride for stride. Just a perfect throw gets it done.
Now remember last week, Seahawks opening drive, they took it into the red zone. Then Isaiah Polamau had an interception. See if the silver and black come up with a stop. On 1st and 10, quick throw. Off the hands and almost picked off. Right on cue, and Polamau was right there again.
It was a nice job by Jermaine Pratt, 57. He got in a window. If you can't get to the quarterback, just get the hand up. Watch 57 to the left. Jermaine Pratt, he's right there. He was in the initial window that Brock Purdy wanted to get that ball in there, and that just threw the timing off.
And guys, that's a hard one to handle if you're the receiver. That thing's coming in with some steam. It gets on them quick. And if you're Brock Purdy, they have to see the throw.
Robinson coming off the last couple of years with the Rams. Purdy trying to throw quick again, moving out of the pocket. Giving chase in the pump fake and out of bounds. Nice pursuit for the Raiders. Thomas Booker, the 4th. We talked about him last week. Kirk, you mentioned they traded Jacorian Bennett. He was the guy the Raiders got back, and he has been active the 9 days in the silver and black uniform.
Yeah, he's been here for 5 minutes, and he's been one of the most impactful defensive players that the Raiders have seen. That's why he's put himself in his opportunity with this first group, showing that he belongs.
He is fast. He is stout. The Eagles fans talked about, he wasn't the most heralded guy on that Super Bowl winning defense, but he played a part. 11th play of the opening drive for the Niners. Purdy and Pratt, the closest one. Miscommunication with the receiver. Tyree Wilson had some pressure, and the Raiders will force a field goal attempt.
It's hard. It's not hard to miss number 9 if he's bearing down on a quarterback like that. Tyree Wilson, I think he's going to be a mainstay in terms of the nickel pass rush. Him getting some good push up the middle, that's what made Brock Purdy have to just throw that ball away.
So a 30-yard field goal attempt. Jake Moody, who struggled last year in his 2nd season out of Michigan, missed 10 field goals, most of them in the second half of the year. Thomas Morstead, the veteran punter, to put it down. The kick is up, and the kick is through. So the Niners a lengthy opening drive, and they lead 3-0 over Geno Smith in the silver and black. Those great shots of the Raiders in our history, which includes Cheryl Nichols. The Raiders family deeply saddened by the passing of Cheryl, a longtime employee and administrator whose career spanned 5 decades with the silver and black. An amazing teammate with talents that shined through her years with the Raiders. Cheryl was one of the most loyal of friends, which will be forever loved and cherished as a part of the Raiders family. Prayers of Raider Nation with her children Kimberly and Mark and the entire Nichols family during their difficult time. She will certainly be missed by the Raiders organization. We're back underway here in the opening quarter. Sincere McCormick with the kickoff return, and he is belted out by the 30 by Curtis Robinson, which will bring out Geno Smith for the silver and black. We saw him, Rich, last week to open the game in Seattle. 1 series turned out to be 4 plays. We're looking forward to seeing maybe a little bit more here today.
Yeah, I'd love to see him play the first quarter. I'd love to see this offensive line get off on the football and really open up some holes for Ashton Jeanty. This is, to me, really about getting this young running back off to the races.
And that is Ashton Jeanty, who was right behind Geno Smith. Passing on 1st down, taking a shot for Bowers. Oh, what a grab! Over the safety, Jair Brown, and that's a pickup of 30. That looked good.
Hey, tell you what, this is really good coverage by Brown on the outside against the best tight end in football. I mean, this is a great throw and a great catch. I don't know how you can coach any different.
That's just big boy football, all right? You got Moss. That's what you want to see right there. That's Brock Bowers, a tight end, getting up and making the grab. That's what Geno Smith, we've been seeing at all training camp.
Spotted him at the 42, officially a pickup of 28. So one big play already. This is the rookie, Ashton Jeanty. He had 3 carries in his preseason debut for -1 yards. They didn't have any holes like that on the opening drive. And we saw this during the practice on Thursday against the 49ers. They were opening up holes, and he had some big runs.
I love the patience that he runs with, though. He allowed those blocks to develop, and you see him, his low center of gravity allows him to get through the hole and get from 0 to 60.
And he's one of those backs that's going to get stronger as the game goes on. He needs touches.
2 rookies on the field. Dante Thornton out there as well. Geno Smith looking for Thornton on the deep ball and just missed him. Diameter Lenore, the veteran corner in coverage. He had gotten a step or 2. Geno just overthrew him.
Hey, he had him. He just got to put a little bit more air on this. Great release by the rookie, Thornton. He's trying.
Yeah.
Geno just has to give him a chance.
You got to give him a chance, but a nice little veteran move there by Diamador Lenore
Yes,
with a little grab. He had a little tug. Just a little bit of tug. The rookie realized he's got to get out and stack him a little bit more, but man, a missed opportunity there from Geno to Thornton.
6'4", 204-pound, 4th-round pick out of Tennessee. On 3rd and 5, the Raiders need to get to the 32. It's a handoff to Jeanty. He's got the first and a couple of yards more.
And this is where Chip Kelly is so good. It's 3rd and 5. You think it's a passing down. What's he going to do? He's going to run the ball, knowing that if they get some of it, they may be able to go for it on 4th down. But just give the young back an opportunity. And as I said, he's a guy that has great balance, great power, and explosiveness, is not afraid to lower the boom on some of these linebackers.
Yeah, love that finish. That was a great finish there.
Well, Rich, you said in the open you want to see the offensive line get off the ball, and they are doing that here on the Raiders' opening drive of preseason game number 2. Geno Smith turning around. Play clock was about to hit 0 when he calls the timeout. And we will step aside as well. Niners had a field goal on a lengthy opening drive. Raiders trying to answer here in the first quarter. A lot of exciting things here inside Allegiant Stadium. 3-0 Niners here over the Raiders. Geno Smith's first drive of game number 2. It's a beautiful pass to Brock Bowers. Couple of Ashton Jeanty runs as well. Coming out of the timeout with a 1st and 10 on the Niners 30. Trying to head towards the end zone again for Thornton. And it's incomplete. Lenore with the tight coverage. You know, we got a chance, Rich, this week to talk to Colton Miller, fresh off his new contract, one of the veterans of this squad.
Yeah, one of the veteran leaders. I loved what he told us in that production meeting yesterday. It's about an attitude and a play style that you live up to each time out. You have to be able to dominate the front, wear people down with their physicality. And I think you've got to give this young back some confidence, and I think you do that by dominating the line of scrimmage.
His 8th year out of UCLA, the 1st-round pick. Geno Smith's going to throw again. He's got Ashton Jeanty with a chance to break through, and he is popped. He still bounced off the tackle, but a massive hit laid on Jeanty. Tatum Bethune, the linebacker, came up to make the stick.
Yeah, you don't want to take too many of those if you're Ashton Jeanty. You want to make a guy miss and try to get out of bounds, but he's not afraid of contact. He delivers the blow. He's the one that won that battle, but I want to see my running back take those hits during the regular season, not the preseason.
But he is on the sideline on this 3rd down. Raheem Mostert in the backfield. Myers, Tucker, and Thornton, the 3 receivers, and Brock Bowers on the field as well. Plenty of time. He's got Mostert. He's got to make a missed tackle, and he cannot get out of the tackle. Marquise Siegel, the rookie out of Kansas State. He is a burner. Played a ton last week, and it'll bring on Daniel Carlson to try and tie this game at 3.
It was a good tackle in the open field.
It is. See, those don't go down in the stat sheet, right? That's a touchdown-saving tackle because the Raiders could continue driving. He makes that tackle. They're forced to kick a field goal.
I thought Mostert was going to make a miss. I mean, you get that kind of space in the open field.
You make that tackle, Rich. That's a field goal now. You're forcing him to kick a field goal.
Siegel getting an extended look because of some of the injuries in the secondary that the Niners have had in camp. So Carlson from 41 yards away to try and tie this game. And we are knotted at 3. Opening 8-play drive. Raiders defense coming back on the field when we return. So the Niners had an opening drive, kicked a field goal. Raiders, a couple of big plays, one from Brock Bowers, a couple of runs from Ashton Genty. But he is in the tent. We saw that huge hit that he took from Tatum Bethune, and Ashton Genty came off the field and went into the blue tent, and the training staff still looking at him.
Yeah, lowering the shoulder, trying to lower the boom, and Bethune
caught him right
on that right shoulder.
Right shoulder, yep.
And you know, this is part of that maturation process too, Rich, that you go through. A young player, you're hyped up, you want to go out and make a play, and you realize, I need to preserve my body a little bit. I need to go out and play 17 regular season games.
That's one of those things that he will, as all rookies will, Kirk, learn. So if we get an update on Ashton Genty, we'll certainly pass that along, but he's still in the tent here. 3-3, 5:17 to go here in the opening quarter. Wilson again with the angle. There's Bergen on the return for the Niners, and Dylan Laube down there to make the tackle. He had a whale of a game last week, special teams and in the backfield, including a receiving touchdown. And he is trying to earn a spot on this roster, and he's making an impact.
And it's competition at that running back group, and plays like that are how Dylan Laube can make this 53-man roster.
Genty is out of the tent. Part of the equipment staff down there. Danny Moe and company making some adjustments. Brock Purdy is out of the game. Mac Jones is in the game, and a big tackle. E-Rob and Landon Roberts coming up to make the tackle for no gain.
Yeah, but it's a two-man team, right? Roberts makes the play, but it's because Jamal Adams turns the football back. That's great linebacking work. Watch 33 flash. He gets up. See how he knocks the offensive player back, and then the cavalry comes, and that's Landon Roberts making a play inside out. That's good team defense.
Doing a better job setting the edge. Too many runs got bounced outside last week on the road against Seattle.
Roberts the last 2 years in Pittsburgh. Raiders coming with a blitz. Mac Jones out to the flat. It's caught. Jermaine Pratt is right there, along with the newest member of the Raiders, Terrell Edmonds. Veteran safety, former first-round pick of the Steelers, signed this week. Mac Jones last year with the Jaguars. Raiders saw him in the end of the season. He was getting all the starts for Trevor Lawrence, who was hurt. 49 career starts for Mac Jones in the league between the Patriots and the Jaguars, and he signed with the Niners this offseason.
Another young quarterback that's kind of been bounced around a little bit his first few years in the league, beginning with New England and then to Jacksonville, and now in San Francisco.
15th overall pick by the Patriots in 2021. Fires over the middle. It's caught. He threw it low, but Hodgins, the veteran wideout, went down to make the grab. They pick up 10 and another first down.
I love this on-time throw from Mac Jones. He's thrown to the spot, and his receivers are getting there. Even with the bad snap, able to stay focused. And Kuntz bearing down on him and delivers a first down.
Go quickly. They try it up the middle. It's Kiner again. Couple of yards pushing through. Brock Purdy did not play last week. He started this game. He went 5 of 7. He hit his first 5 passes. Gives way to Mac Jones. And you know, the offense last week, and again, it's hard to tell, Rich, in a first game. 3 different quarterbacks. They all had interceptions. Niners only had about 200 yards of offense last week against Denver.
Yeah, you don't know what they're trying to accomplish in terms of players, young players are trying to look at, but not the type of performance Kyle Shanahan was expecting from his offense a week ago.
2nd and 6. Jones. And it's picked off. Jeremy Chin stepped in front, and he's got a Raiders takeaway in Niners territory.
Rich, we talked about him in the open. Where's Waldo or where's Jeremy Chin? Offenses better find number 11. And this time he's lined up at the line of scrimmage. So you think he's going to come on a blitz or a rush. He jumps back in the coverage and the full extension for the interception. I told you, he's the most versatile player for this Raiders defense, and he makes another play.
And he watched the eyes of the quarterback the entire way, Kirk. Just a good, wily, cagey veteran play by the safety.
Jeremy Chin, longtime Panther, last year with the Commanders, 2-year deal in the offseason. Ashton Jeanty is back on the field, and that is a massive sign after going in the 10 after the last drive. And he gets the ball immediately. Not a whole lot of room, and he's dragged down by Bryce Huff. Won the Super Bowl last year with the Eagles, comes over to make the tackle on Jeanty.
You know, you think about this offensive line, aside from the left tackle, Colton Miller, there's been a lot of change and a lot of inexperience with the other four. You look at Parham, the left guard position, Meredith at the center position, JPJ at the right guard, and Glaze at the right tackle. I just think for these guys, it's really about lower pad level, working in the combination blocks, getting up on the second level, and really winning in terms of being lower and having better leverage at the line of scrimmage.
Run again with Jeanty. That's a bulldozer. He is bouncing off defenders and dragged down. And Max Crosby's the first one off the sideline to give him a high five.
You just talked about this offensive line, Rich. And this is what they do. They're creating gaps and creating holes. And we mentioned it. There's not a running back I can think that can go from 0 to 100 like Ashton Jeanty. He's already at full speed, and he finishes his runs.
And watch him make that safety miss. You watch the blocking on the perimeter. You can't play in this offense if you're not willing to block in the running game.
Well, Trey Tucker got out to the second level, all 5'8", 182 pounds of him to give him an extra few yards. Jeanty with 4 carries for 29 yards. It's a throw. It's Jacoby Myers in the flat. And he takes it into the red zone. Jair Brown on the trail made the stop. They'll mark it just shy of the 20 at the 21-yard line.
Well, plays that look the same and yet are different. We show this action. We bring the receiver across. And again, we just ran a run that looked very similar. Now we fake it to Jeanty. Gino comes out. This is just an easy pitch and catch to Jacoby Myers.
You guys are in regular season form with your telestrator over there. You got arrows in 3 different directions. They're all pointing to the right spot. You, Rich Gannon, Kirk Morrison on point. 2nd and 6. Jeanty trying to bounce it outside. Ooh, and almost decapitated. D. Winters from behind grabbed him up high and brought him down.
Yeah, D. Winters. Remember, he's going to step in for Dre Greenlaw, who goes to the Denver Broncos over in free agency. So Fred Warner, D. Winters, that's going to be the group of linebackers. It's a nice job by Winters going there and making a play. But Ashton Jeanty still positive yards, learning how to end a run.
Kirk, the thing I like about Jeanty, and you know this from a linebacker's position, he can get lost behind that big offensive line and all of a sudden pop out. It's not easy as a linebacker trying to find him in a pile.
With Damian Tomlinson used to drive me crazy going against him. That's the similar type of running back.
4-down territory here for the Raiders. 3rd down and 3 in the red zone. Gino over the middle. It's caught. Tucker. He got a tiny bit of space in front of Winters. He was touched down. The play blown dead. And that is a 1st down near the 10-yard line as we have hit the end of the 1st quarter. Field goal drives, both teams. Jeremy Chin had an interception. We've seen some Jeanty and Bowers magic. And we've hit the end of the 1st. You're watching the Las Vegas Raiders football. Over 300 Raiders alums and their family have joined the Silver and Black here for Alumni Weekend in Las Vegas. Mark Davis, as good as anybody in the league, remembering the alum, keeping them a part of the franchise, and they got the best seats in the house down there where the Raiders are trying to go score.
They're right there. It's as good as it gets.
Go put this in the end zone in front of the old Silver and Black. 1st and 10, start of the 2nd quarter. Geno Smith to the end zone is just shy, but it's caught. Michael Mayer at the 1. He snagged that with 2 Niners on his back.
Just watch Geno Smith, his eyes and the progression. He's going to work to his left. He starts here, then he's here, and then watch him work all the way back across the field. to his tight end, Michael Mayer. Well done by Geno Smith.
And the protection to go along with it, allow him to get through those progressions.
And that window, too. So first and goal at the 1. Genty, the handoff. And he cannot find the end zone. Stopped right at the line. Raiders did not get much of a push in front of those defensive tackles. Jordan Elliott, Alfred Collins down there.
TJ Glaze needs a little bit firmer at the point of attack. There was an opportunity there up inside that A-gap. Good red zone teams have the ability to run the football in this part of the field.
3 tight ends on the field. Ian Thomas the third. Genty again. Bounced it outside. Using the power. Reaches. Touchdown, Genty. His first as a member of the silver and black, and he does it in front of Marcus Allen.
It's all about the power. And watch the leg drive. The one thing when you saw Ashton Genty in college, it's the leg drive. See those legs keep moving? That's power, leg drive, and Ashton Genty with the finish.
And watch his quarterback. Watch Geno Smith come over here and get some of this action. I love that about Geno.
He's the first one to congratulate him, Rich. That's one thing we've seen from Geno Smith. He has been an unbelievable leader for this offense, and to see the young guy get his first score in the NFL.
Ashton Genty, 50 career rushing touchdowns at Boise State. And that's the capper of a drive that started with a Jeremy Chin interception. Carlson tacks it on. Genty will keep that football. Hopefully the first of who knows how many. Raiders leading the Niners 10-3 here early in the second quarter. Tonight's thrilling moment is brought to you by Yamava. When it comes to world-class hospitality and entertainment, one name stands above the rest. Yamava Resort and Casino at San Manuel, voted #1 casino outside of Vegas by Newsweek. That 25 years ago, Raiders beat the Niners in overtime. I know that man throwing the football. That is Rich Gannon. I know that man catching the football. That is Tim Brown. 9 for 172, 2 touchdowns. Rich, I'm assuming that was just like yesterday, 25 years ago.
Where's the ball security, Rich? That was the ball security,
that was like a normal day for Tim Brown. He made it look easy.
Kirk Morris and Tim Brown down there on the field joining us here. Again, 300 Raiders alum. Tim, I know you can't see that. That had to have been a fun day 25 years ago.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. You know, I remember those days fondly now, right? I certainly wish I could be out here and play it today. No doubt about that.
Tim, I think about your career and the accomplishments that you had, all the big catches, all the big yards, the touchdowns. But what's amazing to me is you had to do it with so many different quarterbacks. I just think when I look back at your incredible Hall of Fame career, I think to me that's the biggest shocker.
Yeah, you know, Rich, you know, I couldn't control that part of it, right? I mean, when I got here, Steve Berline was here. I played with him at Notre Dame, so it was a great thing. All of a sudden, after a year, they trade him, and it starts, right? And, you know, Jay Schrader came in. He did a pretty good job for us, but then we had guys that were pretty much journeymen in the NFL, and everybody was trying to do their best. Hey, the one thing I figured out, though, Rich, every quarterback can throw the ball 5, 10, 15 yards over the middle of the field. So in every offense that we had, I made sure that those are the routes I was running.
And you know what every quarterback can do?
Number 33, 15-yard penalty.
That's Jamal Adams, who got in there like he was trying to get the sack, called for the personal foul. Go ahead, Rich.
And every quarterback can throw to a guy that consistently gets wide open and has great hands. And that was you, Tim Brown.
Yeah, look, man, you know, football just came easy, right? I mean, you know, all the hard work, all that. On game day, man, it was all about having fun. Just going out, do what you do, and enjoy the game.
Tim, I always love the elements of special teams that you brought, whether it was the punt return, the kickoff return. How important was that for the early start of your career?
Man, it was great for me. I told my agent when I came into the league, I didn't know what kind of receiver I could be, but I thought I could make a living returning punts and kicks in the NFL.
Well, there goes a long run by Corey Kiner, and he stayed on his feet before being tracked down from behind. That's a big pickup. Another guy who might make it to special teams. He's showing a burst on a 19-yard run, but he is still down. And Tim Brown still with us down there field level here. We're going to take a look at this play by Corey Kiner.
Yeah, that's just one of those nice little runs. He gets all the way to the second level. He's got to make one guy miss, but the 49ers don't want to see another player down. They've already had 25 guys who missed the joint practice, and to see another guy go down, it's adding to that depth.
And Tim, we're going to take a TV timeout here, so we appreciate you joining us. Enjoy all those alumni down there. Enjoy this weekend. Enjoy being around everyone here. We'll talk to you again soon.
Okay,
Tim.
guys, take care. Thank you.
All right, they look at Corey Kiner on the field. We got to step aside. One of the biggest storylines for the Niners last year, Christian McCaffrey, and unable to play last season. He is healthy now. He has been back at camp, but the cart is out there for Corey Kiner, the undrafted free agent out of Cincinnati. And, the injuries for the 49ers is they're going to take him off on a cart. Guys, I mean, that's the biggest storyline for San Francisco here in this preseason. They are missing so many bodies.
Yeah, not only they're missing bodies, but you start to think about the chemistry of what the offense is going to look like. It's not just at the running back position. It's also at the wide receiver position. And if you're Kyle Shanahan, you have to think to yourself, I want to get some good work here in the preseason, but I also got to get to week 1 of the regular season. How do I do that without getting more guys banged up?
They're already missing 2 of what is expected to be their running back group. Isaac Guerendo, Jordan James have both been out. Guerendo is expected to miss a few weeks with a shoulder injury, and now Kiner, who has kind of stepped up in that role, is a guy they were hoping to make this team with some explosiveness, is being looked at back in the tunnel. So after his 19-yard run, they run with Keyshawn Vaughn, and he is stuck. Jonah Laulu, who had a couple of defensive holding penalties last week, got in the hole and dropped him for no gain.
Yeah, Rich, you talked about extension. Well, Laulu shows you that extension, getting both hands on the offensive guard, ripping him out of the way, and go make the play in the backfield. That's the extension that Patrick Graham, defensive coordinator, talked about yesterday with us.
Yeah, and Tyree Wilson did a nice job setting the edge and forcing that one back up inside. Good penetration.
And that's been different. They did not get penetration in the first half last week in Seattle. Mac Jones, quick throw, great catch. Russell Gage Jr. laid out to make the grab. It's a pickup of 11 and a first down. Veteran, former 6th-round pick of the Falcons. Had a couple of big years, spent some time at Tampa Bay.
That's a tough one to defend low and away between the corner and the safety.
Kirk, you were talking about the Niners and their running back trying to get no Juwan Jennings, Brandon Ayuk not going to be back till at least October. Yeah, they got a lot of veterans who might have an impact that they weren't expecting.
Yeah, Ricky Pearsall's got to be your number 1 now. Yeah. I know you drafted him in the first round to be your 1, and he's going to be elevated quickly.
Keyshawn Vaughn bouncing into the secondary. Caillou Blue-Kelly cleans it up, but Vaughn picks up 10 and a first down.
And these are going to be important reps to get on film. We talked about the 49ers in the open about their run game and how they do a great job with personnel groupings and really attacking you at different points, but they really do that stretch play as well as anyone in football, Kirk.
Most of the 49ers offensive line, the backups, starters played except for Trent Williams, the opening drive. Here in the second quarter, different story. Mac Jones lobs it, open man, first down, inside the 5. Luke Farrell in his 5th year out of Ohio State. And it is 1st and goal, San Francisco.
Yeah, it's just in true Kyle Shanahan form. Watch the whole right side of the Raiders defense. They all went to collapse on the run. And what does Mac Jones do? He pulls it out, and that's how you get a wide open tight end, Farrell, along the sideline. Because everybody's trying to stop the run. Wide open and the easy throw for the quarterback to Farrell, the tight end.
He's not a receiving tight end. Only 36 catches the last 3 years. Jacksonville, more of their blocking tight end. 1st and goal, handoff to Vaughn, and he's stuck before the goal line. Caillou Blue-Kelly again coming up to make those tough tackles.
They run that stretch play, they run the stretch play, they run it to the right, they run it to the left, and they lull you to sleep, and off of that comes the boots and the nakeds. But this is a good job here by Kelly coming off of that block at the point of attack.
Looked like Kelly might have hurt his arm. He came up trying to shake it off a little bit. He does stay in the game. Jeff Wilson, the veteran, he was just signed this week. He's now in the backfield. And he gets the handoff, and he lowers the shoulder, and he's in the end zone. Touchdown, San Francisco. Jeff Wilson with the 6 for the Niners.
You know, you get these opportunities, you get one-on-one in the hole. I want you to watch 44, Tommy Eichenberg. He's the linebacker. He's got to go ahead and make this play. It's one-on-one. Who's going to get it, linebacker or running back? And this time, the running back with the finish for a touchdown. That's one of those plays where Eichenberg comes with a little bit more oomph, and maybe he gets him in the backfield with a nice little finish there for a touchdown.
8-play, 71-yard drive for San Francisco. So their second lengthy drive in their first 3 here in the game. Moody adds the extra point. And we are tied at 10 with 9:45 to go. .10 here, middle part of the second quarter. Raiders and Niners, both teams have moved the football so far. Pete Carroll talking with his longtime player Jamal Adams. Spent time together in Seattle, brought him here in July. Made an impact. Now here, the defensive side, Raiders have given up a lot of rushing yards the first game and a half here in the preseason. Something they'll try and only work on over the course of the next couple of weeks. Jake Moody lobs it towards the corner. Zamir White from the 4, coming out with the kick return. And he's taken down at the 31-yard line after a 27-yard return. Time for the Rookie Spotlight, brought to you by Allegiant, the official airline of the Raiders. Low fares, nonstop flights only at Allegiant.com. Ashton Jeanty, 7 carries, 33 yards, couple of catches, a trip to the tent, but also a trip to the end zone here in the second preseason game.
Yeah, they wanted to get him going early on, and he showed you why. He was the first back taken in this year's NFL draft. Everything that we saw in college, we're starting to see already from Ashton Jeanty. After a slow start in Seattle, he's putting on a show early on here in Las Vegas.
Here's starters on offense, 2 series. They are now on the sideline. Aiden O'Connell taking over. He played 2.5 quarters last week. To Raheem Mostert into the flat. Cannot get away from Bethune on the tackle. Aiden O'Connell last week, Rich, 18 of 30, 205, but those 2 first half interceptions were the problem.
Yeah, I just want to see Aiden go out and play and have a clean performance and not turn the football over. Just take advantage of this opportunity and also lead. You got a lot of young players playing out there. You got a veteran behind you, Raheem Mostert. These are good snaps, good opportunities for the third-year quarterback.
Hops into the hole, picks up about 3. Be third down and short coming up for the Raiders, and a different look in the offensive line. Last week we saw Jackson Powers-Johnson as well as Jordan Meredith play into the third quarter. That is not the case. Will Putnam now in its center. The rookie Caleb Rogers and the rookie Charles Grant, both third-round picks. That's your left side of the offensive line here for the substitutes. Zamir White in here on 3rd down and 3 for the Raiders.
Man-to-man.
Niners bring a blitz. O'Connell didn't see it. And he's sacked. Nick Martin, the 3rd-round pick out of Oklahoma State. He was a tackling machine in Stillwater, and he's got a sack.
Yeah, it was just that inside twist. And you've got to be able to see this inside twist right here. And you've got to be able to pass that off. And this is a second-team offensive line. You've got to be able to distribute and get a guy out of the way of the quarterback. And what happens? Aiden O'Connell just said, man, he didn't have a chance, Rich.
Yeah, nothing's more unsettling for a quarterback than a free rusher up inside that A-gap between the center and the guard.
A free rusher.
A.J. Cole to kick it away. Had a nice week last week in Seattle. Junior Bergen, the rookie out of Montana. And great job in special teams getting down there, the rookie. Darian Porter. That's what got him on the map at Iowa State. Yes, he was a good corner last year, but he was fantastic at special teams, and he's down there to make the tackle right away. Welcome to Las Vegas, Raiders fans. Don't let the end of the game put a stop to the fun. Take it into overtime with world-class performances, music, dining, and so much more right here in the sports and entertainment capital of the world. Canelo Crawford coming up in a couple of weeks. Chris Brown, middle part of September. Paul McCartney, I think Rich has got tickets for that on October 4th. Now we just heard the HBCU Las Vegas Classic, Grambling, Jackson State. at the end of October right here in Allegiant Stadium. Keyshawn Vaughn, the carry. Tyree Wilson, Thomas Booker, hold of his ankles. And HBCU is such a big part of football history, Grambling and the whole aspect of their history. And
I just come to watch the bands.
Well, that too.
I mean, the bands are incredible. I mean, the football's great, but the bands are great.
Willie Brown, Grambling, Hall of Famer. One of the 31 Hall of Famers, part of the Raiders organization. Art Shell, 3-time Super Bowl champion. Played at Maryland State in the 60s. Mac Jones lobbing down the field. It's caught. DeMarcus Robinson across midfield. Chris Smith made the tackle. That goes for 24.
Just over the head of Matt Jones, just working down the field.
I don't know what more you can do on that one, Rich. That's a terrific ball thrown from Mac Jones right over the linebacker. Is that how you layer a football?
In between the linebacker, the corner, and the safety. That's where he fit that one into. That was a pretty good throw there by Mac Jones.
He is 5 of 6 since taking over for Brock Purdy. He's trying to get to the corner. He will step out of bounds on the Niners sideline. He picked up about 5. Now, Mac Jones had such a great rookie year coming out of Alabama. He led the Patriots to the playoffs as a rookie. And it's, Tom Brady's in the building. Remember, it has got to be difficult to take over Tom Brady.
They're big shoes to fill, and that's an understatement. But a lot of change around young quarterbacks, never a good thing. Went through some position coordinator changes and head coaching changes, and that's never an easy thing for a young quarterback who's developing.
Josh McDaniels was his offensive coordinator before becoming the head coach here of the Raiders. Keyshawn Vaughn runs right into his line. Falls forward. Matt Jones there to make the tackle again. Tyree Wilson's been in a lot of plays here for the first half.
Yeah, he's been all over the field. He looks a little bit gassed out there. He's been playing so much, but this is where I want to see Tyree Wilson take the next step. I know what he is as a run defender. When we get to third down, I want to see a good pass rush. I want to see him get back to the quarterback consistently. Great opportunity right here.
Yeah, he needs to continue to develop and improve his pass rush plan. He's got more power than speed. He can get into an offensive lineman and push him back to the quarterback. But I want to see the big plays off the edge.
Raiders come with a blitz. Mac Jones saw it, threw it quickly. Oh, and the second effort tackle. Tommy Eichenberg pushed him forward. DeMarcus Robinson was wrapped up by Darian Porter. He didn't have the first down. But then when Eichenberg came in to give the assistance, he gave him the first down.
Yeah, congratulations, rookie. This is a 10-year vet right here in DeMarcus Robinson, showing you he gets past the sticks, and it just shows the strength that he has. And the young Porter realizes you got to stay on him and then bring him backwards. Don't try to hold on and wrestle. The 10-year vet's going to win that every time.
Jeff Wilson gets the toss, gets a block from Tonjes. And Chris Smith, last man in defense after a 9-yard pickup to make the tackle.
Well, I enjoyed our conversation with defensive coordinator Patrick Graham. He talked about keeping the defensive game plan simple in an effort to play with more speed and greater anticipation. He wants these guys to cut it loose, fly around, and go make some plays.
Yeah, we can't have a short corner, right? Corner has to be there to turn that back, and that's one thing they practice all week long. Corner's going to have to tackle.
Try this toss play to the other side. With patience, and again, Wilson with some late flags. At the end of that run, Eichenberg made the tackle. A couple of flags from different positions came in. And it's coming back.
Well, you can already see in the first 2 preseason games, Kirk, a little bit of an issue in terms of handling the perimeter run. The tosses, getting on the corner pretty quickly.
There were 2 fouls by the offense on the play. Holding, number 3, this penalty's declined. Holding, number 88, 10-yard penalty, replay, second down.
Yeah, the one thing I'm seeing, Rich, is strictly from the cornerbacks. They're absorbing instead of, see, watch 25 right here, DeCamerion Richardson. See how they're absorbing? They're not taking the fight to the offensive player, whether it's a receiver, tight end, running back. You've got to set the edge by bringing the fight. Don't let them come and block you, and that's what I'm seeing too many times that's happening.
You can't retreat. You got to come downhill with a purpose and force that run back inside where you know you have help.
We have played 26 minutes of actual football, game action. That is the first penalty called against the Niners. We saw a lot of those last week, a lot of the early season, a lot of flags in Seattle, both teams. That's been a different story here today, but the thing that has been the same, Raiders last week in the first half gave up over 200 yards of offense to the Seahawks, a lot of it on the ground. And we're at this before that penalty, 186 yards for San Francisco here in the first half. Second and 9, it's a run play again. Keyshawn Vaughn this time stretched out and taken down. Terrell Edmonds coming up from his safety spot to make the hit. The 8th-year veteran out of Virginia Tech.
Yeah, Edmonds comes in. Remember, Lonnie Johnson lost to an ankle fibula injury, so he's recovering. They signed Edmonds, and he's trying to make this 53-man roster. There's an opportunity for him, especially in some of the passing situations. But if you're able to bring in a wily vet that can come down and make plays like that, that's outstanding for a defense.
3rd down and 7. Mac Jones back to the air, saw the blitz, threw to the outside, incomplete for Hodgins. Andre Carter got into the backfield. Mac Jones comes up hobbling a little bit.
Yeah, the 49ers will run short in protection.
Yeah, they bring in 30.
You're going to see the blitz coming, and they can't pick it up. See the back come over, he cross keys, but you've got one short, and Mac Jones has to get the ball out before he's ready.
So Jake Moody, who hit from 30 earlier in the game, will go from 53.
Good timely blitz there by Raiders defensive coordinator Patrick Graham.
And that kick sails wide left. Now, Jake Moody was in a kicking battle earlier in camp. They cut the other, they kept him, but his struggles from last year, if those continue, Niners are going to have a problem.
Watch Morstead try to spin this late. It's actually not that bad. It's just a bad kick. I thought he was trying to battle the laces a little bit. But this was an issue last year, Jason, as you mentioned. You know, those kicks from outside of 40, he really struggled with consistency.
Yeah, no question.
And lost his confidence late in the season.
He was a 3rd-round pick in 2023, so after the miss, Raiders will start 4th drive of this opening half from their own 43-yard line.
Great field position.
And remember, their 2nd drive started after the Jeremy Chin interception, which the Raiders capped off with an Ashton Genty touchdown. Connell's got Zamir White behind him, Alex Bachman and Colin Johnson at the bottom of the screen. It is Zamir White with the downhill run, and he spins his way forward out to the 48-yard line for a pickup of about 5. And there is that legitimate battle. You know, Ashton Genty's going to be here, but who is going to be that second back? Is it Zamir White? Is it Raheem Mostert? There's still a big battle here in camp for Pete Carroll.
Yeah, you still got to throw in Sincere McCormick as well. You're going to have some backs that have got an opportunity, and it's about really who can contribute the most on special teams. Zamir White also returns kicks, and he's also a big power back too, seeing that downhill run on 1st down just now.
Yeah, added some weight last year. I thought he was playing too big. He took some of that off here. Cottle with some patience. Bachman across the line, and there is Nick Martin. An impressive linebacker. He had a sack on the last drive, and he chased out Bachman for no gain.
Yeah, Nick Martin, a 3rd-round pick out of Oklahoma State. Love watching him, covering him down there with the Cowboys. He was the heart and soul of their defense, and now he comes to this 49ers defense along with Fred Warner. That's a nice guy to learn from, especially with Robert Saleh now returning as defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers.
Was the DC for 4 years, then became the Jets head coach before being fired midway through last season. We have hit the 2-minute warning, and we are tied at 10 here inside Allegiant Stadium. Now the Las Vegas Raiders once again hosting former players this weekend during Alumni Reunion. 3-day event started on Friday, continuing through tomorrow to celebrate the forever bond that is the silver and black. Over 300 Raiders alumni and their guests were in attendance last night through the weekend. They are here today. Kirk Morrison, Rich Gannon, you two are part of that. You guys were nice enough to let me accompany you guys to Old Red last night. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you're my +1 last night.
That's right.
You're my +1, man. Special thanks to Callie Welsh, Katie Flath, and Lindsey Sanders. They do a great job with the Raider alumni.
That's a great throw to the rookie Jack Besh. Working his way from the top to the bottom, and it's a first down on the delivery from Aiden O'Connell for 8 yards.
Well, how funny. We were just talking about that during the break, right? We want to see more of Jack Besh. We want to see him make some plays in the preseason games. We've seen it at practice, Rich, when the pads came on. We want to see it translate from practice into the game.
Yeah, nice job stair-stepping and creating a little bit more separation between himself and the corner.
Second round pick, Dante Thornton was 4th round pick, part of the Raiders' new look receiving corps. Donald dumps it to Sincere McCormick with a nice move, and that second effort to get out of bounds will stop the clock after a 9-yard pickup.
Nice job avoiding the first tackler, getting north and south, and getting out of bounds and stopping the clock.
Yeah, it's a nice situational football right here for the Raiders. 2-minute drill, and I'd love to see Aiden O'Connell run this 2-minute drill. You want to get 7. That's always the goal. But to get preserve points, how many opportunities do they take at trying to get into the end zone?
Love to see the enthusiasm on the sideline from all these Raider veteran players who are cheering on some of these young players getting an opportunity to get some extended snaps in the preseason. Comes the blitz.
O'Connell
Can't hold it.
Pumped and sacked. Brought down. Trevis Gibson, the veteran. That'll be 3rd down and long, and a timeout taken after a loss of 8.
It has been a big, tough day for Antonio Mafi. He's on the right side. He's the right guard, number 56, and he's just got to stay in there. He's moving, and they're not able to pass some things off, and that's how you get the linebacker Gibson coming in free for the sack.
Yeah, I'd love to see Aiden throw it away there. You know, if you're not sure, if you're one short, you get a blitz, throw it away. You just have to be able to avoid the negative plays in this situation. In 2-minute football, you can't have the penalties, the turnovers, or the sacks.
Raiders down to 1 timeout. O'Connell was not sacked last week. In his 2.5+ quarters in Seattle, he has taken 2 here in the second quarter. 3rd down and 9. Colin Johnson, he's your big 6'5" receiver. He's at the bottom of your screen.
You pick up half of it, you're in field goal range.
Yeah, max protect look here too, Rich.
Niners showing a blitz. Down to 3 on the play clock. They back out of it. O'Connell's got some time. Eyes came down. He's got Besh again.
Hanging in the pocket. Great job hanging in the pocket.
They'll mark him at the 31. It's a pickup of 14 and a first down.
And they're right back on the ball. Nice job having 2 plays called in the huddle. It all started with the protection on that one, and hanging in there was Aiden O'Connell.
Out of 45 seconds in the half. Dumps it short, and Mostert couldn't hang on.
Let's go back and take a look at the previous play by Aiden O'Connell. What I love about this, he's going to get push up inside, and just watch his pocket presence. It's not always pretty. You got to be able to throw sometimes from an ugly platform. You know, you get push up inside. Great job hanging in there by Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah, I'll give Chip Kelly credit as well. He's offensive line having troubles with max protect.
That drop was his first incompletion. Oh, almost grabbed. He lobbed it out there for Besh. Working on Darrell Luter Jr., and he got his hands on it, just couldn't bring it in.
Pretty good throw. Gave him a chance against man-to-man coverage. Would have been a great catch.
Well, those are the type of catches that you were talking about, Kirk, about what we've seen in practice during camp. Catches like that, yeah.
He's done that practice in, practice out. Just want to see that now in the game.
They're on 3rd and 10. With 36 seconds, Raiders do have 1 timeout left. O'Connell over the middle. That's caught inside the 20 for a first down. It's Kadir Ismail. And the Raiders take their final timeout in the red zone on a pick of 12. Now we're talking about all the alumni in attendance and the family and football. He's part of that Raider family. Is Uncle Rahib, the Rocket, played for the Raiders, and he made that grab to move the chains.
This is well done. He's just going to work right up the middle of the field. He's going to find a little bit of a weakness in the zone coverage. You see the two linebackers buzz out. He just finds a hole right there in the middle.
It's just awareness. He goes right to the sticks, right? This is a sticks route. He goes right to the first down marker, gets past it, turns around, flash those hands. If I'm flashing the hands at you, Rich, I need it right on me. And that's what he did. That ball was delivered on time. Gets enough for the first down.
And a big body, 6'6", 245 pounds. 10th play of the drive. Raiders now out of timeouts with 30 seconds to go. A flag.
I think we get false start up there, Bufford. Right tackle. He's been getting away with a couple plays.
False start. Offense number 77. 5-yard penalty. First down.
He's been getting a little extra head start over on that right side. And finally, the official right on that line just said, you know what? You got a little bit too much of a head start.
Well, the total statistics to this point for this first half only had 124 yards, but the offense has looked more in rhythm than in preseason game number 1. Niners bring just 4. And Mumford took to the edge, and Ian Thomas dropped it. You know what, though? If he doesn't get out of bounds, remember, Raiders are out of timeouts. But that hit Ian Thomas in the helmet.
Good job by Aiden O'Connell stepping up, avoiding the rush, and kicking it out to the flat to his tight end.
Yeah, I love the way that he, like you mentioned, Rich, he climbed, kept his eyes down the field. And Ian Thomas tried to start running started running before he got the football in his hands.
Geno Smith started the game, led 2 drives. Opening drive, field goal, and a 1-yard touchdown on the second from Ashton Genty. Aiden O'Connell, and they'll put the Raiders in front before halftime. Throws near side. He's got Colin Johnson and gets out of bounds. In front of the tackle from Chase Lucas, it'll be 3rd down. But the clock stopped at 20 seconds.
It's a little bit of a hitch route. Quarterback does a nice job using the boundary, leading Johnson to the sidelines.
Now the Raiders sideline, you can kind of hear them saying, Mayday, Mayday. That means field goal, get ready. This ball is tackled in bounds. Field goal's got to be ready to go out there and kick it because there's no timeouts available.
His progression, throw it away. And he does throw it away.
Smart
Giving
play.
chase, Jalen Allen on the pressure, but he preserved the time, and they'll have an opportunity for a field goal with 12 seconds before halftime.
Really good decision there by Aiden O'Connell. Not having a negative play, throwing the ball away and giving your kicker, Daniel Carlson, a chance.
He hit from 41 earlier in the ball game. He is from about 35. Carlson was good up 3 last week up in Seattle. And he just sneaks it inside that left upright. And so the Raiders with a 3rd scoring drive here in the opening half to take a 13-10 lead.
You know, I love the fact that Daniel Carlson and A.J. Cole, our kicking specialists, are big dudes. You know, being out there in practice the other day, you don't realize how big they are. Carlson, 6'5", 222. A.J. Cole, 6'4", 221. I played with Sebastian Janikowski and Shane Leckler. They're big dudes. And when you hear these guys hit the ball, you hear a thump. You can hear it up here in the broadcast booth. These guys are big guys, and I like that in terms of our kickers. 2 guys that can really drive the ball down the field. You look at Carlson, how accurate he's been. I mean, he's got range from 65. And you look at A.J. Cole, he can dramatically change field position.
Well, and how much of a luxury, and we'll talk to John Spytek coming out of halftime, the new GM for the Raiders, but how much of a luxury when you go into camp. And you want competition, you want all that stuff, but when you're not worried about special teams, Niners don't have that.
Well, you're not also wasting roster spots, too.
Right.
You're not bringing in 2 kickers and 2 punters, an extra long snapper. You've already got that position group solidified, so it's really about filling out the 53 with some of the other position groups.
And Tom McMahon, special teams coordinator, is Carlson with 8 seconds left. Boots this one all the way through the end zone. And again, if you're just getting caught up on the new rules of this year's kickoff, the touchback, if it goes into the end zone first without bouncing in the landing zone, this year comes out to the 35, not the 30.
Yeah, they didn't want the return there, so that's why he was told to just drill through the back of the end zone.
Niners do have all of their timeouts here. Not that they can run 3 plays in 8 seconds, but they can run 1, maybe get a timeout. Maybe a couple of plays here before halftime if they choose. As soon as this goes to halftime, Pete Carroll will join us here before he runs into the locker room. And they will not choose to make any plays. They take a knee, and that is how the first half comes to an end with the Raiders leading 13-10. Some real good positives here from the offense here in the first half. Put 3 scoring drives together.
Yeah, love the fact that they're coming off the ball a little bit better up front. Gino looked very efficient. Love the fact that they got the young running back, Aston Genty, the ball in space.
Well, defensively, they got another takeaway, right? 2 weeks in a row now they get a takeaway. And Jeremy Chin with the interception. That's what you love to see with his defensive performance.
And Pete Carroll is putting on the head Saudi. He is now downstairs with us. Coach Carroll, the offense, 3 scoring drives. Felt like the offensive line was getting off the ball a little faster here this week.
Yeah, I think a little bit of everything was faster this week. I think we needed that first game to get started. We needed to practice against these guys, and we've stepped up a little bit. It looks a lot better.
Pete, how excited are you to see your young back, Aston Genty, finally get some touches? Boy, he's exciting.
Man, he lit it up, didn't he? I thought he looked great, and he's over here smiling, having fun. He knew he hurt somebody on the other side, so he's pretty proud of that.
Coach, I said it just earlier, 2 weeks in a row, you get a takeaway defensively. That interception by Jeremy Chin.
Yeah, love that. Taking the ball away is the whole freaking game for us, and to be able to come back and score with the drive too was answer the sudden change opportunity for the Og was great.
Coach, we appreciate it. Getting to that locker room. We'll see you in the second half. Pete Carroll, our halftime coach. His interview brought to you by Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, the official soft drink of the Las Vegas Raiders. He doesn't actually need the sugar, though, to be as excited as he is. Come to the end of the first half. Raiders leading the Niners 13-10. You're watching Las Vegas Raiders football. Halftime coming up. As we welcome you back to Allegiant Stadium for preseason week number 2 between the Raiders and the Niners. 31 players and coaches enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame who have a connection to the Raiders family. The most recent being our friend and colleague, Eric Allen.
Oh man, today is like the day. Here in Canton, take the Hall of Fame picture, the first one. The Gold Jacket dinner is tonight. It's gonna be special.
The most emotional part of the whole weekend is the Gold Jacket, when you become a Hall of Famer.
Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Allen's in the club.
I got shaky. He looked good in the Gold Jacket. We've been waiting for this for so long, and it happened.
You're amongst all these great players and legends that you watch, and now you're a part of them. It's still unreal.
Deeply grateful for this incredible honor. We all share a deep love and respect for the game of football, and it transcends time and place. In 1998, Al Davis convinced me that joining the Oakland Raiders would be the perfect culmination of my career. They were absolutely correct. As Charles Woodson would say, Raiders. So, for the great class of 2025, God bless you and thank you.
Here inside Allegiant Stadium, Raiders leading the 49ers 13-10 as we welcome you back into our booth. And we've added a gentleman along with Rich Gannon and Kirk Morrison. New GM of the Raiders, John Spytek, good enough to join us here for a little bit of time. It's a lot of fun to see all this hard work you and Pete Carroll and the team have put together actually come to fruition for a couple of games. It's fun to see this on the field.
Yeah, it's always fun to come to a football game and watch the guys compete and kind of bring the skills to life that we've seen in practice the last 2 weeks and what we watched in college for the young guys. And so
a good competitive first half.
John, you talk about trying to create a culture and an environment that's conducive to winning and being competitive each and every year. I think it's great to have that competition, but also the enthusiasm. I'm seeing these veteran players. You see Gino running on the field last week and the second half. I mean, just talk about the enthusiasm from these veteran players.
Staple of a Pete Carroll program. I mean, we've seen it for years in Seattle, the energy on the sidelines, the positivity, and you guys played for a long time. It's an emotional game, and you want to be direct and pointed with your enthusiasm, but at the same time, let's have fun. That's Pete's thing too. Let's have a lot of fun out here. Let's show it. Let's be excited. We have a great opportunity to come out here and play football.
How fun has it been to see your vision kind of come to life and watching these players you've either drafted or brought in free agency and start to have a good start to their career?
It's fun, to see Ashton kind of come to life today and have a chance to run the ball a little bit, some physical runs, and Jeremy Chin have an interception. There with a great play as part of the underneath coverage and all these things that we've seen our guys do in practice and we've seen on tape for years. It's been great.
Well, that's a guy you drafted in the 6th round, Tommy Mellott, with some fancy footwork.
There we go, Tommy.
And he takes it out to the 43rd. That's a perfect example. You guys drafted 11 players, 3 in the 3rd round. You took Cam Miller and Tommy Mellott 2 picks apart. But that's a quarterback that you guys are turning into a receiver.
Well, he ran the ball a lot at Montana State, too, and he ran fast when he did it. And so we had a vision to be, can he help us in the return game and on special teams while he learns wide receiver? And that was a good example of that right there.
I think about position versatility. The more you can do, we see Jamal Adams. You talk about different players. And when you ultimately have to sit down with Pete and make some tough decisions after next week's game, their ability to play in the kicking game, John, so critical.
Yeah, if you're not a starter in the NFL, you need to be able to be a functional and really good player on 4th down and on as many phases as you can, and that just brings value to you. So if you're not one of the top guys in your position group, you better have a role on special teams.
John, let's go back to the draft council. 11 players you guys drafted in April. Certainly Ashton Jeanty, the headline, but there are so many players who are competing to be on the 53. 11 rookies. Usually that's not how many a team takes right away, but there you go. And a bunch of these guys are going to have a chance to make an impact.
Yeah, 11. I mean, I would have as many draft picks as we can every year, and 11 is a lot. If we could do 11 every year, we'll do great things with it. But it's good to see, Charles and Caleb out there right now. Jack Besh is out there, and I just love watching these guys compete.
Alex Bachman found a window, and Aiden O'Connell delivered, and it's another 1st down.
John, we had a chance to sit down with Cam Miller the other day, and I tell you, I just love this young quarterback. His energy, his enthusiasm. I think his toughness, as you know, is so important at that position, your physical, mental toughness. Just talk about what you saw from him last week in Seattle.
He moved the football. He's efficient. He knows where to go with it. He plays on time, and he played at a big-time program in North Dakota. I mean, there's a lot of pressure that goes with that. He was a winner, which we always look for at that position.
He played a lot of snaps.
Played a lot of snaps and won a lot of football games there. And there's a lot of pressure in that state. And it's not a big state, but there's a lot of pressure to be the starting quarterback at North Dakota State.
One of the things, John, is you played the linebacker position. You know what it looks like. And I look at this linebacking core that you've assembled, right? Spillane is gone, obviously Divine Diablo, but to bring in the guys that you did in Pratt, obviously Devin White and Landon Roberts, convert Jamal Adams from a safety to now a linebacker. Just kind of take me through the thought process on how you assembled that group.
Well, obviously, I've got some familiarity with Devin from our time in Tampa together. I watched Devin play his best football of his career when we won that Super Bowl. And then Jermaine Pratt, I've had a lot of respect for him for a long time. Landon is a guy that some of our people have been around before, and what a hard-nosed, downhill, physical, energetic linebacker. And then Jamal, to put him up around the line of scrimmage, where really, even as a safety, he played his best football. And Pete and PG had a vision for him, and we're kind of seeing it come to life right here.
After the penalty, it's 1st and 20, and Raheem Mostert gets the carry, and the veteran picks up about 5. You come into camp, and people, especially around now, right? We got one more preseason game. The roster's starting to take shape. Are there positions where you've seen maybe more depth than you thought you had coming into camp? Tougher decisions to make.
Yeah, we're going to have some tough decisions no matter what. We're still competing everywhere. I wouldn't go that far yet, but there are some places I don't want to tell other teams where we feel like we're deep at either. Start looking at some of our guys and we can lose them. But I'm encouraged with the competition everywhere and the depth that we've been able to generate at some of the spots.
The depth at that tight ends. Nadir Ismail's had a couple of big catches here in this ball game. And it's picked up about 8.
John, you've been around some great quarterbacks, none better than Tom Brady. You know what that position looks like. Geno Smith. I love the fact that he went through a lot of adversity early in his career. I think that's so important. Very few quarterbacks can come into the league and have immediate success. Just talk about some of the things you saw in Geno that you thought would be a great fit here in Las Vegas.
Well, he can really throw the football one. I mean, that's easy to see on tape. And when you stand even in person and you see the ball come off of his hand, it's impressive. And he's been through it, like you said, Rich, and you kind of know how he'll respond when it gets tough. It's not going to be a surprise. It's not going to shock him. He's going to get up off the mat and keep competing.
So important at that position.
O'Connell throws the interception. Bachman, the intended receiver, but Chase Lucas stepped in front.
Can't make that throw.
Or that late. You got to throw it out of bounds or do something different. Not that late. On the right hash, all the way across.
John Spytek, GM of the Raiders. You got work to do. We'll say goodbye. Thank you for joining us.
All right, guys.
Niners take over on the other side. Game day starts at the Raider Image, my favorite store.
Sure is.
From sideline gear, jerseys to collectibles and exclusive drops, everything real fans, the official team store of the Las Vegas Raiders. Shop in store and online at Raiders.com/shop. Robbie Chosen with the catch and a first down for the Niners. Mac Jones came in after the opening drive for Brock Purdy. He has played the rest of the way. You know, back to that play from Aiden O'Connell. The interceptions, 2 in the first half last week, and he didn't have mistakes in the first half, but that wasn't his best throw.
No, it's a throw you can't make. I mean, the defender ran the route for the receiver. Just on those out-breaking routes, you got to see out in front of it. You got to use the boundary, and we have an expression: if you wait, you're late. Ball's got to come out on time. That's one you simply cannot make.
We take a look at our halftime stats, brought to you by Yamava. When it comes to world-class hospitality and entertainment, one name stands above the rest. Yamava Resort and Casino at San Manuel, voted #1 casino outside of Vegas by Newsweek. You in? Details at Yamava.com. Must be 21 or over to enter. Please gamble responsibly. And again, the Raiders defense, too many yards allowed in the first half, just like last week. 3 scoring drives. Nice play by Chris Smith. He got in the backfield to make Jeff Wilson try to cut it outside, and it's a loss.
Yeah, the competition at safety, right? Chris Smith realizing he's got to make some plays. He's got to show that he's got to make this 53-man roster from being able to come from that field position, that outside, and come force the play. This is what we talk about. You got to force it, and that's a nice job by Chris Smith. Didn't make the play, but allowed and slowed the running back down to allow his guys to come in and come make the play.
Like the aggressiveness, like the instinctiveness to come down with a purpose. Come downhill with a purpose.
Niners 3 of 5 in the first half. On 3rd down. This is a 3rd and a full 10. Snowden off the edge. Mac Jones avoids, and that's going to be pass interference. Greedy Vance in coverage, trying to stay with Russell Gage Jr., and it's going to be a first down for San Francisco.
Yeah, that was multiple flags, and the reason why is because Mac Jones able to step up in the pocket.
Pass interference, defense number 41. Spot of the foul is where the ball will be placed. First down.
That was a terrific route from Russell Gage, though. Watch how he stacks, and then watch how he just boom, boom. A little quick to the inside move. On the inside, that's just tough for a defensive back when you get head up with the receiver, giving him a two-way go.
Greedy Vance, undrafted free agent, a couple of years at Louisville and to Florida State for that undefeated season, then last year at USC. Mac Jones over the middle. It's a completion to the 33-yard line. That's a solid strike. Tariq Owens, the son of Terrell Owens. And that is a first down on a 16-yard pickup.
And play action. This is the Kyle Shanahan staple. The play action draws the linebacker up and just opens the window for Mac Jones. He can lob that in there because of the linebacker, Matt Jones. He's all the way near the line of scrimmage. And he can lob that in to Tariq Owens for a first down.
Terrell Owens, 3rd all-time in NFL receiving yards. Tariq Owens, almost 19 yards a catch in his final year at Missouri State. That to Chosen, and another 10 yards. You know, Mac Jones, with the exception of the interception he's thrown, Rich, he's looked like he has been in command here. Different story from last week in Denver.
Yeah, I think good coaching, right? He's in a system. I think he's got some experienced quarterback coaches and a great play caller, and I think he just knows this is a great opportunity for him to get better at his craft. Had success early on in New England, struggled a little bit, went to Jacksonville, got a chance to play last year behind a
pretty bad offensive line.
Charles Snowden tracked down the play. Mac Jones, 10 of 12 for 118 yards.
I can also say you go back to a couple of years ago, the job that he was able to do with Sam Darnold. Remember who was the backup quarterback, kind of rehabilitate him, got him an opportunity in Minnesota. Now he signs, obviously, the deal with the Seattle Seahawks. So maybe Mac Jones trying to take a page out of the Sam Darnold book and kind of get his career restarted in San Francisco.
Sam Darnold yesterday played for the Seahawks after not playing last week against the Raiders. On 3rd and 4, Mac Jones trying to get it with his feet. He's tracked down by Snowden from behind, and he didn't get there. Picked up maybe 3. It'll be 4th down and a yard or 2 coming up for the Niners.
Read and retrace, right? Once you get up the field and you realize, oh, quarterback's going, how can you just retrace? Put the foot in the ground on the right side. Watch Snowden. He gets up. He's running a hump. Oh, I got to go. And retrace, foot down, and go make a play.
Well,
it's solid.
It was last year in training camp and preseason. Charles Snowden made a name for himself. He hadn't played in any games for the 2 previous years, but he made the initial 53 and was on the defense all last year. On 4th down, Mac Jones. That is caught, and it's a 1st down. Tight window, and the tight end, Jake Tonjes, made the grab.
Edmonds draped all over him. That's just a big boy catch. Tonjes 6'4", 240, the 3rd-year player out of Cal, just using his body and just shields him out. That's how they rebound, right? Antonio Gates used to do that to me all the time, the Hall of Famer Antonio Gates. Just the wide body, box you out. Can't even get a hand in there.
Just post up.
He's dumped it down. Matt Jones couldn't make the initial tackle. It's a few yards on the pickup for Russell Gage Jr. It'll be 2nd down and about 5. We talked about the tackling a lot last week. It was the point of emphasis for Patrick Graham, defensive coordinator, and the entire staff this week. Kirk, what have you thought so far here in game number 2?
Yeah, I mean, there's still room for improvement, but I've loved the increased attention that they've had on tackling today. The corners, they're going to get better at it, but they've got to, like you said, bring the fight to the offensive line. They got to do that. But your veteran players, I thought, have played well. Jamal Adams running around, Devin White, Pratt. We've seen Landon Roberts make a play earlier on. But defensively, Patrick Graham told us it's really getting everybody together. They're playing a lot of defense. I thought it was great that he mentioned marrying the 2 sort of philosophies together, the Pete Carroll philosophy of defense and the Patrick Graham philosophy of defense, and it's starting to gel, I think, at the right moment.
1st and 10. Nice play up the middle. A little strong leg drive. Trevin Ma'ai was in there and made a hit in the backfield. He got carried for a couple of yards by Keyshawn Vaughn. Ma'ai last week had a sack at the block kick as well. The defense last week got gashed by the run. Today, that hasn't been the story. There was the 19-yard run, but other than that, the rest of this ball game for San Francisco on the ground, only 39 yards rushing. Vaughn empties the backfield on 2nd and 7 for Jones. To the middle, and it's off the hands of Hodgins.
Rich, you know what I'm going to say, Rich. What I'm going to say. The quarterback can't throw it where?
Can't be behind the receiver.
Can't be behind.
Can't be high in that part of the field. You got to put it on them. Those receivers don't want to take that hit, Kirk.
That ball's got to be low and inside.
And he's the outside receiver. And watch how high this one comes in hot and high.
If he puts that thing low, let your receiver go down and get it, you've got a chance.
Jones was 5 of 5 on the drive. Again, he empties the backfield. And the whistles blow. Andre Carter is there.
Before the snap, false start, offense number 76, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That is Isaiah Prince, the backup tackle. Max Crosby has been excited from the get-go, as you'd expect. He's going to join us in the 4th quarter. Look forward to having that conversation with Max down on the field. I know he's eager to get his defense either a takeaway or a stop, one of the 2. 3rd and 12.
I love the fact that he's into it. There's a guy that loves football. He loves competing every day he walks into the facility.
Raiders showing a blitz. Here they come. Jones steps up, open man. Gage trying to spin away, and Chris Smith makes the tackle. Now, Chris Smith and Charles Snowden have made a bunch of plays here on this drive.
Yeah, but that's a touchdown-saving play. Remember, Smith's got to hold his disguise for as long as he can, because the blitz comes, and so watch where Chris Smith comes from depth, keeps his eyes on his receiver, and makes a play. That's a one-on-one tackle out there in the open field by Chris Smith. That saves a touchdown.
For the moment, because the Niners look like they're going to go for it here on 4th down. But they have a bunch of players running in and out of the huddle, and now the Raiders are bringing a bunch of players on, and
they'll take a timeout.
They're going to take a timeout, yeah.
Timeout. San Francisco, their first 3-second timeout.
Which will be the 14th play of the drive. Following the Aiden O'Connell interception, we'll keep it here.
Really enjoyed our conversation with Raiders defensive coordinator Patrick Graham. He's a smart guy. Kirk, you've been around some good ones, but I think he talked a lot about the synergy between himself and Pete Carroll. You know, they both have that background on the defensive side of the ball. I think he's mentioned that Pete's created an environment where, you know, he's got new energy and a new outlook on some things. It's been a great sounding board for Patrick Graham, and I think he talks about it all the time. This head coach is all about focusing on the fundamentals. That's the meat and potatoes of what they do every single day, right?
That sure did. Get to the meat and potatoes. We don't need the size. We just get to the meat and potatoes of the defense.
Well, let's see if he comes with some broccolini here. The whistle's dead. Chosen caught it, but the whistles were way before the snap.
False start.
Yeah.
Before the snap, false start. Offense number 76.
That's 2 in a row on him.
This is before the snap. 4th down.
And so they will bring on Jake Moody instead. I don't know why broccolini was my side dish of choice, by the way.
That was kind of weak.
A little, yeah, I don't know.
Because you saw me have that yesterday.
You did eat that yesterday.
I did see that at the Raiders facility.
We're trying to coach this guy. We talked about the Raider image. I thought he'd know. What's the expression you learned from Kirk and I? If it's free, it's for me.
Yep.
Or if it's free, I'll take how many, Jason?
All of them.
3.
If it's free, give me 3.
But Kirk had lots of broccolini, which was also free.
But again, I don't know.
A lot of side dishes that come before broccolini.
That training table at the Raider facility is second to none. It's about as good as it gets.
I'm not missing there. No.
Well, Jake Moody missed from 53 on his last kick. He was good from 30. This from 26.
Oh, jeez.
Barely snuck that through.
Tell you what, the 49ers are bringing a kicker in again next week.
They may have some competition there, but right now we're tied at 13, 4:15 third quarter. Now, how cool was it in Canton just about 3 weeks ago? Eric Allen, the latest member of the Raiders family to go into the Hall of Fame. EA, part of Silver and Black Productions, doing the radio there with Matt Millen and JT the Brick, a couple booths away from us. EA is one of a kind, guys. EA is someone we have loved for a very long time. We were all so happy to see him go into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I love EA, man. Intense at practice yesterday. He was into it. I'm like, it was a walkthrough, EA.
Well, I'll tell you, I played against a lot of great corners, and I went against this guy when he's with the Eagles, but I also went against him every day in practice. Just so smart, so instinctive, cagey. Just so good when the ball was in the air. He just did all the little things right.
It's always smooth. One of the smoothest DBs I've seen.
And he had such a great, strong finish to his career to really put him over the edge to get into the Hall of Fame. Here with the Silver and Black, Dylan Laube coming out on the kick return. He's been great on special teams in the preseason. And he takes it out to the 36-yard line. And, you know, while we're talking about EA and part of the radio crew here, speaking of radio booths, we want to send out our best wishes to 49ers play-by-play man and longtime Raiders guy, Greg Papa. Greg announced a couple weeks back that he is battling cancer and stepping away from the booth while he is taking on that disease, and we want to send our best
during the return,
to Greg. More than 20 years in the Raiders broadcast booth.
Holding number 18, this penalty's declined. Holding number 26, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Well, I've known Greg a long time, one of the good guys in the business. Certainly our thoughts and prayers are with Greg and his family. Hurry back, brother.
Wishing him the best in his recovery here with 4:08 to go in the third quarter. Raiders and Niners tied at 13. Aiden O'Connell. Got to see how he responds coming off the interception.
Well, he did a good job of that last week, right? He was able to recover from the 2 interceptions, but can he recover this week? Can he show that bounce back again that we saw against the Seahawks?
Hands it off to Sincere McCormick. Spun down after a pickup of about 3. Chaz Surratt coming in to make the tackle.
Well, we just had an interesting conversation with Raiders general manager John Spytek about Aiden O'Connell. One of the things we talked about, he's experienced a lot of change his first 2 seasons. He's now with his 3rd different head coach, a 5th different play caller. That's insane. It's no way to develop a young quarterback. And I think he's a guy that just needs to settle in. I mean, he's shown flashes. He just needs to smooth out some of the rough edges. It's all about consistency and production at the quarterback position.
Shedrick Jackson makes the catch. Jackson last week had the 41-yard touchdown grab up in Seattle from Cam Miller. Bo Jackson's great nephew, burner with some speed, showing some good hands here on second down.
Yeah, the element of speed is what you always talk about when you talk about the Raiders. Jackson has that, but also he's got some special teams ability as well, trying to fight for one of these spots at the wide receiver.
And 76 yards receiving to lead the Raiders last week on 4 catches.
Well, you got the whole middle of the field opened up.
Niners back out of the blitz, out of the backfield. It's a first down. Raheem Mostert moves the chains in front of the linebacker, Nick Martin.
Yeah, that's just a great job of recognition. You saw it, Rich. We all saw it. There was no safety in the middle, so you felt like there's going to be some man-to-man coverage there. Right immediately to his outlet, Raheem Mostert, the veteran, makes the play, and that turns into a first down. Just simple play recognition, or actually defensive recognition of what they have at the line of scrimmage.
And this second-team offensive line has been in the ball game since the 3rd drive of the game. They're getting some good work here, too, to find out who's going to be part of the 53-man roster. O'Connell underneath, Carter Runyon with some space. Jackson blocking downfield, and Carter Runyon across midfield. Carter Runyon flashed last week. He had 3 catches, and he adds that for 19 yards. The rookie out of Towson.
You don't get this wide open. He's just going to work across the field, and 2 49er defenders run into each other. This is about as wide open as you get in the National Football League.
It's the longest play of the ball game for the Silver and Black. O'Connell over the middle and over the head. He had Runyon. He had him streaking down the seam, and he just didn't put enough air under it.
This is just an example of 2 players not on the same page. You've got the tight end working down the middle of the field. You got to be able to use all the field. He just pushes him up the field. This is a better throw by Aiden O'Connell may get this done.
O'Connell 13 of 19, 67% for 118 yards. Does have that interception thrown in the red zone on the last drive. Off his back foot, same look and throw, and Kadir Ismail couldn't bring it in. Now the Niners are running it back like it's a fumble, but it was blown incomplete as soon as the ball hit the ground.
Isn't it amazing? Chip Kelly comes back with a very similar play, and now Aiden O'Connell throws a perfect dart down the middle of the field.
I just love what he did pre-snap. His pre-snap recognition, knowing where that safety is. He knew this time he could actually lead him, like you mentioned before. You can actually lead him up the field now, knowing that that safety went into the middle right after the snap.
And that was a great throw by Aiden O'Connell.
Max protection look.
On 3rd and 10, the play clock winding down. And Pete Carroll got the timeout in before the play clock hit 0. And so with a 3rd down coming up, we will step aside. And Aiden O'Connell keep the drive going. Maybe it's his final drive of the ball game. First downs for the hometown. America First Credit Union will donate $100 to a local charity for every Raiders first down inside Allegiant Stadium this season. Raiders today, 13 first downs. have been outgained by the Niners 259 to 202. Only 11 rushing attempts. The Raiders have put it in the air 28 times today. Geno Smith was 6 of 8 for 55 yards. Aiden O'Connell in relief after the second drive. He is 13 of 20 for 118. But again, it's the number all the way on the far right, guys, that is the one that is, I guess, most concerning of anything here in the first two games.
You got to take care of the football. And, you can't make 4 or 5 great throws and just one bad one. We talked about just eliminating some of the ugly decisions from Aiden O'Connell.
And Pete Carroll has talked about competition since the moment he got hired. And he has said that at every position across the board. Aiden O'Connell, 13 of 20 for 118. They need to get it to the 39 for a first down. Good protection out of the backfield. It's Carter Runyon, and the tight end's got the first down. Well, he is not a guy that coming into camp you would have talked about a ton. But the rookie out of Towson, if the Raiders are keeping 3, 4, definitely 3, 4 tight ends, he's put his name on that list.
Well, at least put his name in an opportunity for the practice squad, the guy that you want to develop as well. Brock Bowers and obviously Michael Mayer, your guys. Ian Thomas has come in and shown what he can do. But Towson, the kid out of Towson, Runyon has definitely had a terrific camp.
He's now got 5 catches in a game and a half. O'Connell climbs the pocket out of the backfield. He dumps it to McCormick. And he's chopped down at the 30 by Lucas. There is a flag down, though, in the backfield. And that's going to be holding against Las Vegas.
And keep in mind,
holding offense number 60. It's a 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
And keep in mind, guys, and I know you know this, each team is represented here. A lot of teams will have personnel people watching this game, looking at both the teams, the Niners and the Raiders, and every team in the National Football League will evaluate this game tape. If you're looking for a tight end, if you're looking for a defensive back or a running back, some of these guys that maybe don't make this 53-man roster here in Las Vegas will get the opportunity somewhere else. Every rep matters. What you put out on tape, it tells the story.
There's a third holding call on the Raiders. And moving clock with 25 seconds left in the third quarter. Back to the air. Ooh. Runyon, the intended receiver, Saran Neal, the former Buffalo Bill, come up to make the pass deflection.
You've got to be able to see this corner right here. He's going to fall off, okay? And this is the one that got Aiden O'Connell last week. Watch that corner outside with eyes inside. Now he's going to fall off into the flat. So you've got to be able to see that outside flat defender or that contained defender, because that could turn into a real headache for your receiver running that shoot route.
Try to get some of the yards on the ground. Mostert picks up 3. And that should bring us to the end of the third quarter, which will do that. We have hit the end of the third. We are tied at 13. Max Crosby's going to join us coming up to start the fourth quarter. You're watching Las Vegas Raiders football presented by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of the Las Vegas Raiders.
They bring 4. Burrow will go down. Sacked by Max Crosby. The throw. Crosby off the edge. And he's got the ball at the 23. Shotgun down. Pocket collapses. Down he goes. Max Crosby again.
Well, he is the one and the only, and he had a tackle for loss in the first quarter, and Max good enough to join us down on the sideline here as we start the fourth, along with Rich Gannon, Kirk Morrison, Jason Horowitz. Happy to have you here. Max, we got this 3rd down and 17 here for Aiden O'Connell to get things going. You're watching it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we need to get in the field goal range right here. Get some points, take the lead. Let's see what we got. There we go. Get in the flat.
He's got Shedrick Jackson. I got popped by, but to your point, they picked up the yards need for the field goal, right?
I know, field goal range. There you go. This dude's talking too much over there for getting bullied.
Max, let's talk a little bit about the defensive play tonight. You guys came out with a purpose to stop the run.
Yeah, 100%. You know, we definitely seen some different things when we first opened up versus San Fran in practice. But yeah, I felt like we tightened some things up. We made some adjustments, and we came out ready to, prove a point, get some stops, and I feel like we did that.
Now, Carlson here lining up for a 54-yard field goal, Max. He's already hit from twice today.
Yep. This is a sniper right here. Come on, baby. Easy work. Bang. There we go. Best kicker in the world.
We saw
Carlson, baby.
We're going to keep it here. We're not going to commercial. We saw you in practice yesterday with went in the walkthrough. You're running quarterback. Like, have you and Daniel ever kicked? What do you? How far can you kick from?
I'm definitely not a kicker, but I definitely, I like my scout team quarterback look. I take it very serious. With the young guys, try to make them, just try to make them better, give them a good look, and just help the team any way I can.
No, Max, countless guys that come in free agency, and the first thing they say is, man, I talked to Max and I wanted to come here. Just his passion, his energy, his work ethic. What have you told some of these guys that are free agents about joining the Raiders and what they will kind of join in and come into?
Yeah, it's an honor, to have the guys, speak to me in that way. That's honestly my goal every day, is just to be the standard and the example. And we've had so many different guys come in this off season, and they've been awesome. We're bonding as a team, but really spending time together. And that's what it's all about. The best teams are the teams that are the closest. And I feel like we're definitely getting closer and closer as the days go on. We're in the thick of camp, but it's been an incredible journey so far, but we're just getting started.
Max, what I love about you is your relentless pursuit of excellence. And I just think your passion and your motor. And what I'm seeing, you tell me if I'm wrong, I just watch the players on the boundary, offensive players, defensive players, running out in the field, congratulating their teammates. The energy, it's starting to become contagious. It's not just Max Crosby anymore.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. To win, we all have to be in, and we have a great group of guys. And Coach Carroll is the one who it starts with. His energy on a daily basis, from the team meetings all the way out to practice and to the competitions after practice and everything. It just becomes, a culture that everyone wants to be a part of, and everyone wants to win. This is the ultimate goal. We're here for one reason, that's to win football games, and we definitely plan on doing that. So we're excited.
Max, it feels like forever ago that you would have been on the field here in the fourth quarter trying to, you were a fourth-round pick out of Eastern Michigan. Like, you ever stop and think like that? These guys are doing what I did, and now I'm the face of the silver and black.
It's unbelievable. It's definitely humbling, but it's all about perspective. For me, just being an outlet for these young guys that are trying to make the team right now. They're showing up every single day with the right mindset, and for me, just being able to be a guy that can inspire them and give them some pointers as they're going along this journey. I want to see those guys win, and everybody's out here to make this team and make an impact, and I'm trying to help them in any way I can. So yeah, it's a blessing to say the least. Being a part of the Raider Nation, the silver and black is literally who I am to the core. So guys like you, Rich, and the legends that did it before, we're trying to bring back the new Raiders and really make an impact and win football games.
Max, so many guys think that they can hang with you when it comes to working out, but tell me what goes on at 5:30 in the morning when you get to the facility when you're the first guy there.
Yeah, it's dark. It's a little dark. It's a little gloomy, but that's what it's all about. For me, one of the biggest inspirations for me is Kobe Bryant, and there's a reason why I got him tatted on me. That guy has inspired me in so many ways, and for me, I want to be that guy for the silver and black, and I take a lot of pride in that. So being the first one in, the last one out, the guy that's going to lead by example. I'm never going to ask my teammates to do nothing I won't do. That's how you become a leader. You can't just talk about it, you got to be about it, and I'm about it to the core. And I love these guys. I want to be the best version of myself every time I step out, no matter if it's in a meeting, if it's in a workout, if it's in the game, if it's in the biggest part of the game. I want to be the one that is setting that tone no matter what it is. So yeah, I take a lot of pride in it, and I love what I do, man.
Max, JJ Pegues is down on the field, so we're going to step aside here. We appreciate your extended time, but we'll talk to you later, and we'll see you next week in Arizona.
All right, guys. Love you guys. See you soon.
Max Crosby off of his contract extension at a tackle for a loss. And now we will go to break as the training staff will take a look at the rookie out of Ole Miss early in the fourth quarter with the Raiders up a field goal. Niners are going for it. Fourth, and with the new Hawkeye technology, you know exactly how short they were. 4th and 7 inches Carter Bradley, who's in under center, and the sneak works for a first down.
You could almost see it coming. Carter Bradley, a former Raider.
Yeah, last year in camp, Gus Bradley's son, promoted to the active roster in December when Gardner Minshew got hurt. And he did pick up the first down. Not by a lot.
Or if you're a quarterback, when those quarterback sneaks, a lot of things happen at the bottom of the pile. Guys like Kurt Morrison come in there and they step on you and they twist your ankle and they grab you by the throat.
It's all about the ball. Trying to find the football, Rich. Got to find it. Get in it. Find it any way you can.
Kirk never twisted an ankle.
All right. You want to find out, Jason?
I was told Kirk was the nicest person of all time. I drilled him. Oh, and he hung in the pocket and found Robbie Chosen. That is a great throw by Carter Bradley as Trevin Ma'ai hit him right in the midsection for 26 yards.
That's a big-time throw. You're going to see him just stare down the barrel. He's got the receiver. And this ball comes out before the receiver's even out of the break. Watch this throw by Bradley. Ooh.
Turner handed it to Jeff Wilson. Nice tackle. Tommy Eichenberg coming down the line. You know, Matt Millen, two-time Super Bowl with the Raiders, 4 overall. He could not talk enough about how much he has seen from Eichenberg's development from year 1 to year 2.
Yeah, especially when you see space and you go get space, right? That's what it is. Go get the ball. And you want to see more of that from Tommy Eichenberg, refusing to be blocked and going and making a play, getting underneath the blocker. Just an excitement. Patrick Graham talked about it yesterday.
What did he say? Beep, beep. Reset.
Reset button.
Hitting the reset button on Tommy Eichenberg. So much potential with this young linebacker out of Ohio State.
Bradley dumps it to Keyshawn Vaughn and Hudson Clark there to make the tackle. Undrafted free agent out of Arkansas. 55 career games with the Razorback. Former walk-on. Trying to earn a spot here on the Raiders. It'll be third down.
I want to see a good rush here. You know, we've been waiting on it all game long, and I know it's a second tier and third team defense, but I just want to see someone consistently get to the quarterback.
Going to play great defense in the National Football League. You know this, Kirk, as well as anybody. You got to have great pass rushers and great cover corners.
Now, to this point, the Raiders in the preseason through 7+ quarters, just 1 sack. Bradley loads up, and it's off the hands. Chosen had gotten a step on J.T. Woods. It was close, but it'll be 4th down and 6. And they're going to send on Jake Moody.
Yeah, that's the veteran, Robbie Chosen, in his 9th year, showing the late hands. J.T. Woods is doing great in coverage. He's right there, but the late hands didn't allow Woods on the outside to really deflect that pass. See, watch the late hands by Chosen. Just Woods with his back turned, never had a chance to go up and knock the ball away with the overthrow.
Now Moody has looked shaky. He is 2 for 3, but he barely made his 26-yarder. This is from 50, and that is good. So Jake Moody is 3 for 4, and we are tied at 16. Remember, the Raiders and Niners finished in a tie last year in the preseason, and the Raiders tied last week in Seattle. We are tied here in the 4th. Well, all the alumni here in attendance. It was Terry McDaniel, 5-time Pro Bowl corner for the Silver and Black out of Tennessee, lighting the Al Davis torch to get this crowd going, and all the alumni here in attendance. Marcus Allen, more than 300 Raiders alum and their families, their guests down there at the Wynn Club field level. Eric Dickerson in attendance as well. Been a fun weekend, guys, and it's going to continue through tonight and tomorrow as well.
Yeah, again, man, shout out to Callie Welsh, Katie Blath, Lindsey Sanders, the Raiders alumni department. They do such a terrific job. Kudos to them, as always.
And so much of a shout out as well to the folks who put on the atmosphere here inside Allegiant Stadium. George Thorogood, bad to the bone at halftime.
Played in my dorm my freshman year at the University of Delaware, Lane Hall. It was the 10th anniversary of George Thorogood and the Delaware Destroyers. How about that?
He put on a concert in your dorm?
My dorm. Because that
but
was
he's
the first,
like 20 years older than you.
No, but that was his first concert that he performed when they were just kind of a startup band at Lane Hall on the University of Delaware campus. So 10 years after the fact, when he became a big star, he decided to come back and put on a free concert. And I just happened to live in Lane Hall. So, of course, I invited a lot of my buddies. That place was packed.
The excitement of Rich Gannon, man.
I love George
it.
Thorogood. I love football, and I can't wait to see this young quarterback. We had a great conversation with Cam Miller. I'm excited to see what he can do here in the fourth quarter.
George Thorogood, President Biden, the pride of Delaware, of the state. Cam Miller was 6 of 7 last week. That's a great look. He and Cedric Jackson having a nice connection here in the preseason. Tough grab, and that's out to the 49.
Not an easy one to come to get this up and out real quick out of the gun. Watch how quickly he gets the grip. He's outside and he pulls the trigger and gets it right back inside.
I love it, Rich. I mean, the guy, he told us he's a gamer. It's just you put him out there and give him some time. He said, I just need reps. Keep giving me reps. And he's showing he takes every rep as if it's his last rep.
He hands it off to Dylan Laube, who's had some plays on special teams. Last week, Laube had 34 yards rushing on 5 carries. Picks up about 3. You know, Cam Miller out of Solon, Iowa, a town of about 3,000. He was telling us yesterday, said he had no FBS offers coming out of high school. He was in Iowa's backyard, wanted to be a Hawkeye, went to North Dakota State. And he said he was constantly fighting for his job. He won 2 national titles. But he said he felt like he was always, they were bringing in guys to take his job, and he never gave it away. 56 starts.
Well, he definitely has a big chip on his shoulder. He's been overlooked his entire life. He said, I don't like things to be easy.
Was Collier into Saran Neal for a first down.
But he did say, I know that I can play at this level. I'm excited about this opportunity. And Kirk, you were talking about reps. Yeah. You know, the big challenge for the young quarterback is always about getting reps, right? You're not going to get enough in training camp, so he's getting more mental reps than he's getting physical reps. He's learning from watching Gino and Aiden. And you know, I think the speed of the game is a little bit different than what he was used to in college. But here's a guy that, you know, I think has the ability to play at this level. And I'm excited. He's got a lot of the qualities and the intangibles that you love at that position. Physical, mental toughness. He's accurate. Great anticipation. And he loves football.
Well, he led scoring drives last week in Seattle. And you know, he's got the Raiders in scoring position. I mean, they're already in field goal range.
You know, what I thought was interesting when we sat down with him, guys, the other day, he talked. I said, who did you admire? Who did you really, you know, look to as you were coming out? He said, you know what, the guy that I really liked was Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Because you look at their body types, neither of them are big quarterbacks, but yet, you know, extremely confident, accurate, good leaders. They do a lot of the little things right that, you know, don't require a ton of talent. But I think just great maturity, very confident but not arrogant.
Yeah, and rhythm throwers. Yep. Rhythm on-time thrower. That's what he kept talking about.
Here comes the blitz, and he's throwing downfield. And it's over the head of the newly acquired Marquez Callaway. It'll bring up third down. You know, Cam Miller last week against the Seahawks came in, again, same spot, fourth quarter. And, you know, he came in right away. He got hit a couple of times early, but he was on time and delivered and looked good and on the move.
Yeah, he only had 1 incompletion. That was kind of just throwing it out of bounds to give his team an opportunity to kick the field goal. To me, look, you forget that he played for an elite-level program on the FCS level in North Dakota State. He's played in a pro-style offense for 5 years in college. We've already talked about the experience, but we're seeing it now on the NFL level.
Played in 67 games with 56 starts. We love the fact that this guy's been around a lot of football.
On 3rd and 5. And that's caught. He delivered it to the tight end. Alberto Okwuegbunam making the grab for a first down.
On-time, precision throws. I mean, we keep seeing it over and over again from Cam Miller.
Here's a guy that completed almost 70% of his passes in college. You know, he's just got, there's a certain feel about Cam when you watch him. And I think, you know, the guys in the huddle, even though they're not necessarily starters, the guys in the huddle believe they've got a chance with this guy.
Now the Raiders are showing their depth at tight end over the last couple of weeks. Chris Collier with a run up the middle. That's the largest hole they've had, and Collier picked up 10 yards.
Just watch the right side of this offensive line come off these blocks, and look at that hole. I mean, that's a good-looking hole. Great job by the right side of that offensive line.
Yeah, I love Chris Collier, too. He's shown with his opportunities that he can go downhill. The Raiders are looking for, we know what Ashton Genty can do, and look, Zamir White, but obviously the running backs behind him, and Collier saying, look, I can give you some of that downhill running ability and special teams.
Well, you said the right side of that offensive line. That includes Laki Tassi. Cam Miller to the end zone. Over the head of Alberto. Well, I mean, let's go back to the hole you were talking about, though. I mean, the right side. Laki Tassi, wearing number 79 for the Raiders, part of the International Pathway Program. All 6'6", 373 pounds of that 21-year-old young man who was part of the Ash Grove GPS Rugby Club in Queensland, Australia. Last week was the first time he ever played a football snap.
It's amazing that they teach him how to put the uniform on. I mean, I think of him, I think of Jordan Mailata, who's developed into a phenomenal player for the Philadelphia Eagles. A guy that has natural physical size and athletic ability.
I mean, he is pushing people. Laube tried to hop into the hole. And again, Surratt hopped in there to make the tackle. It'll be, now that was 3rd down and 1. See here if we get that Hawkeye technology. Yeah, we're going to get it. You know, last week we didn't have it up in Seattle. This is the new part of the NFL this year, the chain gang. They are now the backup for this Hawkeye technology where you got the cameras around the stadium. You're going to get that look at to see if it is a first down.
Well, it's going to be tough.
It's going to be close.
I'll tell you what, that looked pretty good to me. Question of where his knee was.
And the officials are waiting here.
I was told it's supposed to be a little quicker than this.
Yeah, well. I wonder what Jimmy Russell, the back judge, is thinking, who's holding that football. He's like, I didn't think I had to be down here that long. He's like, I also didn't think they'd mention me in the broadcast booth today.
Yeah, well,
we had these guys out of practice the other day, the scrimmage. Great that the...
Hey, you don't think he heard us?
Yeah.
You think he heard us?
I think he heard us.
Hey, Jimmy!
What's up, brother?
All right, here we go. Let's get this Hawkeye technology. They're all looking up at the big board, and... First down!
It's a first down.
You know, I got to be honest.
Yeah.
It was worth the wait. I don't know how tennis players have stayed so calm through all those years.
Let me tell you something, tennis, they don't have to wait that long.
Love it, Pete.
Love it. I'm fresh set of downs here for Cam Miller. He led 2 scoring drives last week. He's trying to get at it again. He keeps it himself, and there are 2 Niners out there, and he's brought down inbounds. Jalen Mahoney in his first year out of Vanderbilt.
That's film study. I know we're in preseason, but a lot of these guys who are playing here in the 4th quarter, they know the Raiders players who are going to be playing in the 4th quarter. And defensively, you're saying, hey, this guy's got legs. This guy can move a little bit. Be aware for him keeping it on those read option plays.
Yeah, Cam Miller, 48 career rushing touchdowns at North Dakota State. But he also took care of the football. He had a point one time with 324 consecutive passes without a pick. He does hand it off to Chris Collier, and he keeps the legs driving.
He did break a lot of school records for the Bison at North Dakota State University. And I love his touchdown-interception ratio, Jason. 81 touchdowns, just 19 picks. Threw a lot of passes. A guy that makes good decisions at the quarterback position.
You think about all the Bison quarterbacks who have now been in the NFL. Carson Wentz, Easton Stick, long time with the Chargers, now with the Falcons. Played most of that game last night against the Titans. Trey Lance, once with the 49ers, was once the 3rd overall pick. We are inside of 4 minutes to go in a tie ball game. Raiders and Niners. Miller with an empty set. To the end zone. Too high for Ismail. And they will send on Carlson to try and convert on his 4th field goal of the ball game.
Yeah, really not much you can do here, Rich.
Yeah, they showed pressure. They bailed. He recognized it. He's got a zone defender. He had to throw that one high and protect the tight end. The decision not making a mistake in that part of the field.
This so far the shortest of the ball game for Daniel Carlson. Has been good on 41, 35, 54. And this from 30 to give the Raiders the lead. And the silver and black are back in front. Can they finish off a victory, leading 19-16 late in the fourth quarter? Now Cam Miller here in the preseason continues to lead scoring drives. Raiders field goal, 19-16, capping off a 13-play drive for the 6th round pick, and immediately went right over to talk to Greg Olsen, Aiden O'Connell, and Geno Smith.
Isn't it great to see the veteran quarterback there helping out the young guy? And that speaks volumes about Geno Smith's leadership in this football team.
Dallas Flowers hopped through a defender, and Colin Johnson made the tackle around the ankles. So Raiders trying to hold on to this 3-point lead. Geno Smith got a couple of drives, and first drive, nice long pass to Brock Bowers, led it to a field goal. He got it back after a Jeremy Chin interception short field, and they capped it off with an Ashton Jeanty 1-yard touchdown.
I'm excited to see what Geno Smith can do this year, especially working with Chip Kelly. And Chip's talked about a lot. It all starts with the quarterback. It revolves around him, his skill set, what he's good at, what he likes, and what he has a history of doing. I think it's going to be fun to watch Chip and Geno go to work this year for the Raiders.
Carter Bradley back to work, sidearm throw. It's flung out to Braden Willis. Tight end takes it out to the 37 on a pickup of 7. You know, last year Carter Bradley was on the field for the Raiders to tie the game with the Niners.
Right.
This year he is on the field with the Niners to try and tie the game against the Raiders.
That's the NFL, right? That's the NFL. You 1 year, you're with one team. The next year, you're trying to make another team. So good opportunity for Carter Bradley out here against this Raider second and third string defense.
Good throw out to Junior Bird, and Sam Webb's got it wrapped up.
And his dad is Gus Bradley, the longtime defensive coordinator in the National Football League, former assistant coach with the Raiders, now the assistant head coach, defensive specialist with the San Francisco 49ers.
He was with the Colts last couple of years as their defensive coordinator.
He's been around the block. He's been to a lot of organizations. I've done a lot of Chip Kelly or Gus Bradley games over there, even back in the day when he was the head coach in Jacksonville.
They're down in 2 for his son, Carter Bradley. Oh, is sacked! Oh, that was fast. Andre Carter got in the backfield. First sack of the day for the Raiders is a loss of 6.
Nobody blocks him.
Nobody. It's a quick inside move. And he really just kind of pushes the tackle away. The tackle just set to the outside, and Carter, on his way in, makes a big sack for this Raider defense.
Now, Andre Carter was an All-American at Army in 2021. Their first in 31 years. Trying to make some impact plays to make the Raiders roster. Here inside Allegiant Stadium, the only time in the preseason squad will be here in front of the home crowd. Raiders will open up the regular season in New England. New head coach Mike Vrabel and company. And then it'll be a Monday night game, week 2 against the Chargers here in this building.
Now the question is, are you going to see some pressure or are they going to drop into coverage?
Find out. Here on a 4th down and 8. They need to get to the 40-yard line. They do come with pressure. Bradley steps up. It's caught. Oh, Tonjes reached the ball across. We'll see where they spot it. He needed to get to the 40, and he's got a first down. That was a heck of an individual effort by Jake Tonjes.
Yeah, it was a great throw from Bradley with the pressure bearing down. Pressure in his face, and was able to deliver that. That's a strike. That's a first down.
Meanwhile, the clock's still running.
Still running, yeah.
They're under a minute and a half.
Yeah. Niners do have 2 timeouts remaining. Bradley dumps the screen to Jeff Wilson. He gets a block, and Jeff Wilson into Raiders territory. He picks up 17 yards. Michael Barrett escorted him out. But another first down with the clock stopped at 1:15.
Yeah, nobody's thinking screen on that play. And you saw that they had blockers out in front. All the Raiders are on the opposite side up the field. Terrific play call there from Kyle Shanahan. Got the Raiders outflanked.
Jeff Wilson Jr. signed earlier this week. Signed 5 days ago. He scored a rushing touchdown in this ball game. 8 carries for 16 yards, couple of grabs. Bradley back to the air. Taking a shot deep down the field. Into double coverage and almost picked off. Clark was there. There are flags, though, in the secondary on the pass intended for Tariq Owens.
Holding. Defense number 27. It's a 5-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
That is on Sam Webb.
Right at the top of the screen, he's going to grab a hold.
A couple of different times.
Really not necessary. He's got help over the top.
Well, that's hard, too, right? You're trying to make a roster.
Yeah, but you miss with your hands
on
at the line of scrimmage. Though.
Yep.
That's what he's in the trail technique. You don't got to panic. Like Rich said, you got help over the top. He start to panic.
Bradley, delivers an open Chosen, who is into space, and Robbie Chosen has it inside the 10. That's a pickup of 30 yards, and the Niners with a 1st and goal trying to take the lead.
Well, there's a lot of space there.
It's the first thing I saw.
Look at the middle of the field.
It's a precision route, but I need my safety to come down and make a play. But the angle looked like it was Hudson Clark. That angle, he's got to be down. If he catches it, you got to tackle him right there. It's one thing for Chosen to catch the football, but to be able to catch and keep going, that's got to be on the safety right there to come down and make a play.
Carter Bradley is 8 of 9 for 96 yards. And he wants Keyshawn Vaughn out of the backfield. We'll see if the Raiders jumped or if this is a false start.
False start. Offense number 76.
That's his third.
5-yard penalty. First down.
Yeah, 3rd false start on Isaiah Prince. That's leadership right there, too. I mean, going over Carter Bradley, go pat him on the helmet. Hey, you get the next play. So 1st and goal, back to the 14-yard line. And movement again, this time on the other side.
Snap infraction by the center, number 63. It's a 5-yard penalty. Let's go first down.
Going backwards. Oh, center forgot the snap count. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, he's pointed out. My bad.
That's Nick Zakow, who spent most of this ball game at guard. He has played pretty much this entire game with some of the injuries they've had up front. Ben Barch, Trent Williams in play. 1st and goal still. Bradley slings it. Nobody there, and almost picked off. John Humphrey couldn't get his hands on it. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Now you get this point late in the game, Rich. Patrick Graham, what do you think your defense could execute? Right? You've got defenders everywhere, and you got to distribute this route distribution. Everybody has to know what's going on. So as it gets a little bit louder, you don't get this at practice. The crowd noise, being able to communicate, hand signals. So I want to see, again, the execution and the communication of this secondary right now with this crowd noise.
Need a good rush here.
Raiders bring a lot of bodies. Bradley is sacked. Michael Barrett, last week's leading tackler, gets in there on the sack. And Kyle Shanahan takes a timeout with 48 seconds to go.
Darnay Holmes, number 30. He comes free. He doesn't make the play, but he creates the play. Darnay Holmes, number 30, sets it up. And then the cavalry comes through and shuts it down.
Take the break with 49 seconds.
The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song, he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash with a silver hat about his head and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold, and the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
Al Davis said just win Carroll has said just compete, baby. And the Raiders from years past all watching this Raiders team trying to hold on here against the Niners in the preseason. Carter Bradley being chased on 3rd and goal, and it's incomplete. Trey Taylor at the exact same time the ball got to Keyshawn Vaughn. And so now the Niners will bring out Jake Moody to try and tie this up with 41 seconds to go from 43 yards away.
Nice job of plastering as Trey Taylor. Quarterback gets out of the pocket. You just got to go hook up, look for work. That's what we always say. Find somebody next to you. And Trey Taylor with the hit right when the ball was delivered. Good job there, forcing the field goal.
So Moody to tie it up. He is 3 for 4 this afternoon. Remember, the Raiders had a block kick last week. And it's hooking good. Now, it looked like it was going to shank right when he kicked it, and he curled it in. So we are tied with 37 seconds. So Carter Bradley answered the field goal drive of Cam Miller. And, you know, now you get the opportunity here. If you're Cam Miller, 37 seconds to go. All you can ask for is reps.
All 3 timeouts.
All 3 timeouts.
Well, we have 3.
Now, we have 3 on the scoreboard in the stadium, 2 here on the scoreboard. But there are 3 on the official stat sheet. So 3 timeouts left for the Raiders.
But now, just again, the kickoff.
Yep.
The ball either has to be kicked inside of the landing zone, or if it goes straight into the end zone, you get the ball at 35. So you're going to have an opportunity just to get in field goal range, and now you're thinking, how many yards do I need for Daniel Carson?
By the way, we have asked our crack statistician, Russ Delin, and our entire staff, can anybody find the answer of the last team that had 3 consecutive ties in the preseason? Raiders tied the Niners last year to end the preseason. Seahawks tied last week. We're tied now. Nobody has an answer yet. Now Moody's going to put that one short of the goal line, and so they're coming out. Chris Collier with a head of steam, and he does take it out across the 30. 6 seconds, 7 seconds came off the clock. So the Raiders will start at the 32-yard line. They do have all 3 timeouts. Daniel Carlson, say you kick from 55, so you need to get about 30, 33 yards to get in his range.
I love what Geno Smith told Cam Miller last week. Treat it like a practice, take a deep breath, and go have fun. And this is the opportunity that Cam Miller has right now with 30 seconds left.
He's got Phillip Dorsett to the top of your screen. He and Shedrick Jackson have a nice chemistry. Here comes the blitz. Miller didn't see it. He's sacked. Right off the edge. Chase Lucas, who has a pick in this game, also now with a big sack and a loss of 6.
You never saw it came from this blind side. It's going to come right here. They're 1 short. Back can't get over there quick enough.
That's tough, Rich. What are you supposed to do on that one?
Well, you got to see it. You've got to communicate. You got to check. You got to check. You got to make sure, and if not, you've got to have a built-in answer. A lot of young players out there seeing things for the first time.
3rd sack for the Niners this afternoon. On 2nd and 16, Cam Miller steps up, gets away from 1, cannot get away from the 2nd. That is another sack. That's a loss of 1. And so now it'll be 3rd down, and the Raiders are down to 1 timeout remaining.
Please set the game clock to 21 seconds.
So they'll add a 2nd left, so they'll add it to 21 seconds. And now Cam Miller and company need a couple of big plays.
Probably have to call 2 plays in the hole, right? Because if this ball's in bounds and you get the 1st down, or you keep the chains moving, or it's the next down, you got to be ready to go make a play right after.
You got to be careful you don't turn the ball back over to the 49ers.
Remember, they'd be in field goal range already. Niners look like they're coming with a blitz. They back out of it. Miller hangs, throws, and it is picked off. And he's not touched down, and now he is. Jalen Mahoney with the interception. And the Niners, with 13 seconds left, are in business.
This is an example of a young quarterback trying to make a play. Could be trying to stick this one in down the field. You can't fight zoning defenders and trying to fit this one into the veteran Philip Dorsett. The safety sitting there waiting on this one the whole time.
He never got into it either, Rich. Off his back foot was Sebastian Valdez coming right in his midsection. Well, from here for Moody, it would be about a 59-yard field goal. Niners only have one timeout left, so they're looking to get a few yards and timeout, which is pretty much what Cam Miller did last week, right? Set him up. Had an opportunity for Carlson to try and win it in Seattle. They ultimately missed. Bradley to the air. Over the middle. It's bobbled and dropped by Owens. And now with 8 seconds left, you taking one more play with that timeout in your pocket.
Yeah, we got one more. It's a quick play, too. It's get down. That's what you're talking in the huddle right now. Hey, catch, get down. Call the timeout. No catch and run here.
By the way, don't tell anyone in this building around that field that wins or losses don't matter in the preseason.
No, defensively, man, you just want to tackle. That's the conversation. Tackle, tackle. No catch, just tackle. Force them to use that timeout.
Bradley. Nope. Good coverage, Cody Lindenberg. And now, with 4 seconds left, you are going to have to send Jake Moody on, whose career long is 57. Now, remember, preseason stats do not count. Cam Little of the Jaguars last week would have broken the NFL record with a 70-yarder. But this one for Moody would be a career long. He is 4 for 5 today. He is hit from 50. And this from 59 to send the Niners home a winner. And a timeout taken by Pete Carroll.
Timeout in Las Vegas. Their final timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
By the way, we do have this from our truck. They have research back to 1994. So we're going back 31 years. Nothing before that. But if this does end in a tie, the Raiders will be the only team in that 31-year span to have 3 consecutive preseason games end in a tie. Look at that work.
Oh, we put the research team to work today.
Yeah.
We put the research team to work.
Our producer, Peyton Witness, doing some great work in that truck. All these great shots. They got a great team. Silver and Black Productions, award-winning.
There we go. Remember last week, Trevor Maai had a block.
Yes, he did.
Point. So let's keep an eye on this Raiders defensive front.
Raiders out of timeout, so here comes the kick for Moody. 59 yards. Good snap, good hold. Kick is up. It's long enough, and Moody drilled it. Would be a career long, and his 5th field goal of the game. Wins it for San Francisco at the buzzer. You saw it down there too, Rich. I mean, all those Niners players, they know the struggles that Moody had last year. They are so happy for him.
Yeah, that's what this is all about, right? You know, even the preseason game, you can see, we talked about Max Crosby and Geno Smith and all the enthusiasm and cheering on your teammates and the young players are getting the opportunity to play. We saw that from the 49ers after that kick, how excited they were for their kicker and
I thought they were going to carry him off, Rich.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to carry him off.
It was a good snap, good hold, and a good kick by Jake Moody.
Now the Raiders superstars got some work in. Brock Bowers had a catch on the opening play of the game from Geno Smith. Ashton Genty today, 7 carries for 33 yards and a touchdown. Now, speaking of that catch to Brock Bowers, you wanted to get something lightning early in this game, and you saw it. It's the connection of the game, brought to you by Allegiant, the official airline of the Raiders. Low fares, nonstop flights only at Allegiant.com.
Just put it in a space and let Brock Bowers go to work. Do your thing, Mr. Bowers. We're going to see that connection a lot this season, but we know that that's a strong connection now, just developing those throws deep down the field to Dante Thornton. But great to see Ashton Genty run the football as well as he did today.
Overall thoughts, progression from week 1 to week 2.
You know, I'm excited to see this offense work when we got everybody in there, right? We've got the starters in there. We've got Ashton Genty. I think, you mentioned Brock Bowers, Chip Kelly, what this offense is going to look like. Keep in mind, guys, it's been pretty vanilla here the first 2 weeks of the preseason. Raiders not interested in showing the league what this offense is going to look like during the regular season.
Back-to-back takeaways on defense. Love it. That's why I want to see another one next week against Arizona.
Last week, Jeremy Chin today. Raiders falling home here at the buzzer, but there's a lot of stuff to like as we head to Arizona next week. Niners win at 22-19. For Rich Gannon, Kirk Morrison, and our entire crew, I'm Jason Horwitz. Take care, folks.